for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Very happy. This dictator, I can't even
I, Robert Mugabe, hereby formally tender my resignation as the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe with immediate effect.
Teacher, anti-colonial revolutionary to elected prime minister, then a ruthless dictator. The evolution of Robert Mugabe from a leader who was steering Zimbabwe to a bright economic future to a despot who bled his country dry and disposed of opponents who dared stand in his way. But Mugabe was able to use the outcry from Britain and elsewhere to his advantage and present himself as a hero who stood up to imperialism.
We have fought for our land. We have fought for our sovereignty, small as we are. We have won our independence, and we are prepared to shed our blood in sustenance and maintenance and protection of that independence.
And that's how he first came to international attention, leading a guerrilla movement to overthrow Rhodesia's white government. The country's Prime Minister Ian Smith had tried to resist majority rule by declaring unilateral independence from Britain in 1965. Only 4% of the country's population was white. Having previously been jailed, Mugabe led a campaign of violent resistance from exile in Mozambique. The bloody Bush War throughout the 1970s eventually led to a negotiated settlement. At Lancaster House, Britain's Foreign Secretary Lord Carrington brokered a deal which saw Mugabe and rival revolutionary Joshua Nkomo temporarily united. British authorities oversaw the democratic elections which followed, and Robert Mugabe triumphed. He was congratulated by Prince Charles as majority rule finally came to the new Zimbabwe. Finally, a formal handover from Britain and a new nation was born. Initially, the country prospered. White settlers and their descendants were encouraged to stay, and Zimbabwe was held up as an example of what could be achieved at a time when South Africa's white rulers still clung to apartheid. Margaret Thatcher came to Harare full of praise.
We can see places like this where it has been so very successful, whatever the problems, it's been the patient negotiation which has solved them. And I think that does give a very good example for others to follow.
Mugabe had sacked his one-time partner Joshua Nkomo, and his ZAPU party was merged with Mugabe's ZANU to form ZANU-PF. Mugabe was consolidating his power. But 12 years after independence, and with British colonial heritage still celebrated, Zimbabwe was a country which seemed forward-looking and at peace with itself.
A lot of the ex-Rhodesians that left here are trying to get back here.
The former Prime Minister stayed on in the country while cautioning against Mugabe's Marxist policies.
If we can change from a government which believes in communism to one that believes in the free enterprise system, then we're fine. We have a wonderful country here.
But with white farmers still owning the bulk of the land, veterans of the war and the unemployed grew impatient. A dispute with Britain over compensation for land redistribution saw farmers intimidated, beaten, or even murdered. Mugabe's government allowed it to happen, then facilitated it and encouraged it, ignoring court rulings that it was illegal.
I'm now going to have a reinforcement from Harare to come and take more farms.
How can you surrender something willingly that you've lived on for 60 years? We shall have to sell all the malata, I suppose, to try and get our money back and this sort of thing, and gum poles and what have you. We'll try and sell all that before we go, and all our tobacco and maize and cattle. And we won't put in a wheat crop, and then we'll wish the comrades the very best of British luck.
Decades of agricultural experience departed, voluntarily or forcibly. The consequence was that a country which was once regarded as the breadbasket of Africa began to starve. Harvests shrank, shelves were empty, and rampant inflation meant currency became virtually worthless. Through it all, Mugabe, who took on the title of president, blamed others for the problems.
What we reject is the persistence of vestigial attitudes from the Rhodesian yesteryears, attitudes of a master race, master colour, master owner and master employer.
The Commonwealth suspended Zimbabwe's membership. Mugabe opted to quit the organisation. International sanctions were imposed. Mugabe remained defiant.
The Western countries, in particular the United States and the European Union, who imposed illegal sanctions against Zimbabwe, have, to our surprise and that of SADC and the rest of Africa, refused to remove those sanctions. If they will not assist the inclusive government in rehabilitating our economy, could they please stop their filthy, clandestine, divisive antics?
A country rich in natural resources should have been a beacon for Africa. Instead, life expectancy rates plummeted. The average Zimbabwean would be dead before their 40th birthday, while Mugabe was heading for his 90s.
But our gold is ours. Our platinum belongs to us. Our diamonds are ours. They are not American, they are not British.
Two of his country's cricketers took to the field wearing black armbands to protest what they called the death of democracy. They later went into exile. But still, Mugabe's supporters lauded him, and time again he claimed success in elections, despite allegations of corruption and manipulation. When opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai threatened an upset at the polls, he was badly beaten by thugs. Supporters of his movement for democratic change saw their homes demolished under the guise of redevelopment. Perhaps out of conviction, maybe to deflect attention away from other problems, President Mugabe became an outspoken critic of homosexuality.
If dogs and pigs know their mates, can human beings remain human beings if they do worse than pigs?
We are asking you to arrest President Mugabe.
On several occasions, Peter Tatchell and other gay activists attempted to make what they called citizens' arrests, accusing Mugabe of torture and the killing of political opponents.
I have asked you, officer, to arrest President Mugabe under Section 134 of the Criminal Justice Act 1988.
By 2008, Mugabe was forced to share power. Morgan Tsvangirai became Prime Minister, but despite his advancing years, Mugabe was showing no inclination to step down as president.
At this age, I still can go some distance, can't I?
And in the 2013 elections, he regained undisputed power in a disputed election. By now, the sharp Western suits were often exchanged for something more colourful. And at his side, his second wife, Grace. Gucci Grace, as she was dubbed because of her expensive shopping trips. She'd had an affair with Mugabe while she was a secretary and bore him children. But after the death of his first wife, they were married, and her own political ambition grew. Earlier this year, she was accused of attacking a model during a trip to South Africa, but was allowed to return home without being prosecuted. Neighbouring leaders like Jacob Zuma maintained their high regard for Robert Mugabe despite international criticism. He was still a hero from the old struggle for black majority rule. Increasingly, he took comfort in his relationships with others who were also vilified by the West.
You have sanctions. We have sanctions.
Вы боретесь с санкциями, мы тоже.
In this America, the imperialist at the top of it all.
But age was catching up with him. He often seemed frail. And as he weakened, opposition to him became emboldened. Rival MPs heckled a State of the Nation address.
Overall economic performance to date indicates modest growth, particularly in the sectors of agriculture, mining, tourism, construction and telecommunications.
In the past week, the army joined that opposition, intervening, but not, they insisted, seizing power. They were ensuring that Emerson Mnangagwa, a former ally Mugabe sacked, would be his successor rather than his wife Grace.
We don't want Mugabe, we want the goblin to go. He's a goblin.
It led to demonstrations and celebrations that many Zimbabweans thought they would never see.
Tell him to go. We want him to go. We want him to go. Tell him.
ZANU-PF is a party of traditions.
But in a rambling address to the nation, alongside army officers, his much-expected resignation did not come.
I, as the President of Zimbabwe and as their Commander-in-Chief, do acknowledge the issues they have drawn my attention to. The operation I have alluded to did not amount to a threat to our well-cherished constitutional order, nor was it a challenge to my authority as head of state and government.
But just 2 days later, a U-turn caused by the threat of impeachment. This from the Speaker of Parliament.
I, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, in terms of Section 96, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, hereby formally tender my resignation as the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe with immediate effect.
On the streets, they celebrated the end of the regime. In a rare interview with Sky News in 2004, Mugabe said he was merely a public servant.
I'm a man of the people, actually. I'm born peasant family, and I have a peasant background, and I know what it is, to work with people, to hear them talk, to allow them to, play a part in your life. And this is, I think, what has carried me to this day. And although I sit here as president, I know that that post I owe to the people.
A man who spoke of his admiration for Britain's royal family will no longer enjoy the regal lifestyle that came with his office. The British government had previously stripped him of an honorary knighthood he received from the Queen. Now his own people have taken away a job he thought he had for life.
Good night. This is The Cutting Edge, and I refer my next Wednesday for you. We're there with you. Believe you me. Come like a liver watch here now. Yes, Cutting Edge. We see that the concert, Jamton, them call it, to aid the victims of the hurricanes that took place in the other part of the Caribbean is on its way. It's still going on. I don't know how much artists leave, but if you're on your way, that's why you know say it don't finish. Still going on, you understand? So you can still make it there, and even if you don't make it there, you can still give the money still. You know, really have to do if you give the money. But I mean, you know you want to watch the show still, but you know, it is good to give the money still. Anyway, we continue our journey right here, so yes. Me I trick myself, man.
The Zambian government, Bishop, sold the copper mines in northern Zambia to an outside consortium for $25 million. The copper mines for $25 million because they couldn't manage to keep them. The company that came in and took over the Zambian copper mines in 3 months made a profit of $75 million. They did not pay the Zambian government up front in cash for the mines. They were going to pay them over a period of time. Here we have this company that has an understanding of how things work, raised the money at the government's expense, took money that the company should have, the government should have been making, and gave it back to the government and said, we paid our debt in full, and give them now 0.006% of the proceeds of copper mining. When right outside the door there's people in poverty, people in not eating, people ignorant, people dying, high levels of AIDS, and what's the deal? Churches are full, people are praising God, Africans pray all night. Prayer is not in the success equation. Prayer is in the revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation. You have to make a decision and be sound. We have to be disciplined and make sure we go and get what God has called us to get. You can be full of the Holy Ghost, but you can still be ignorant. But as for me and my house, I will get understanding. I will get understanding. I will get understanding. It's time now for us to rise up and be counted. This year, the country of Ghana turns 50. Ghana was born the same year we were born, in 1957. Ghana and South Korea had their independence dates on the same day, the same year. But look where South Korea is. South Korea is by nature not a Christian nation. South Korea by nature are Buddhists. China, which is the next large world economy, they have stated that in the next 10 years, 20% of the Chinese people will be multimillionaires. That means almost 450 million Chinese will be millionaires. They are not Christians, they are Buddhists. The Japanese are Shintoists. Those in Indonesia and Malaysia are Muslims. It's not about praising God and hallelujah and a great thank you, Jesus. It's about possessing an understanding as to how things work.
I don't think hell exists. I happen to believe in life after death, but I don't think it's got a thing to do with reward and punishment. Religion is always in the control business, and that's something people don't really understand. It's in the guilt-producing control business. And if you have heaven as a place where you're rewarded for your goodness and hell as a place where you're punished for your evil, then you sort of have control of the population. And so they create this fiery place, which has quite literally scared the hell out of a lot of people throughout Christian history. Mm-hmm. And it's part of a control tactic.
But wait a minute, you're saying that hell, the idea of a place under the earth or somewhere where you're tormented for an eternity, is actually an invention of the church?
I think the church fired its furnaces hotter than anybody else. But I think there's a sense in most religious life of reward and punishment in some form. The church doesn't like for people to grow up, because you can't control grown-ups. That's why we talk about being born again. When you're born again, you're still a child. The people don't need to be born again. They need to grow up. They need to accept their responsibility for themselves and the world.
What do you make of the theology, which is quite prominent these days in America, which is that there is one guaranteed way not to go to hell, and that is to accept Jesus as your personal Savior?
Yeah, I grew up in that tradition. Every church I know claims that we are the true church, and they have some ultimate authority. We have the infallible Pope, we have the inerrant Bible. The idea that the truth of God can be bound in any human system, by any human creed, by any human book, is almost beyond imagination for me. I mean, God is not a Christian. God is not a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist. All of those are human systems which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God. I honor my tradition. I walk through my tradition. But I don't believe my tradition defines God. I think it only points me to God.
You and I are emerging people, not fallen people. Our problem is not that we are born in sin. Our problem is we do not yet know how to achieve being fully human. The function of the Christ is not to rescue the sinners, but to empower you and to call you to be more deeply and fully human than you've ever realized there was the potential within you to be. Maybe salvation needs to be conveyed in terms of enhancing your humanity rather than rescuing you from it.
Life is a startling and wondrous experience. And eventually, I think we're going to discover that God is unfolding through the life of our consciousness and our self-consciousness and is not a parent figure up in the sky. But I believe because I'm related to something that is not bound by time and space, that I will share in whatever God's eternity is.
You know, we have to see the children, because there seem to be a attack. I have to say, I must have to say it. It's come like it's an attack on the consciousness that's supposed to prevail. Don't prevail again because of a certain culture in a Jamaica here right now. Yeah, the culture seems not to be conducive to spiritual awakening or spiritual upliftment. It just dead so. Everybody get caught with it. It's a serious, serious thing. This is the cutting edge. We are continuing the journey, you know. We are continuing the journey. We have a whole heap of things we want to break out tonight, you know. You know, the Mugabe thing, I think yesterday when I did on the program there, I did ask the question if anybody know of any coup will ever take place in Africa, or the world for that matter, with no blood, no shed. Because it's the first I ever hear of a coup with no blood, no shed. But the ironical thing about this one, you know, is that the three people them who involved in it, the three of them are best friends. Yeah, Mugabe, the vice president, because it's Mugabe make him become vice president, and the military man will decide say him go hold Mugabe in house arrest. The three of them is good friend. So I don't know if that have to do with and then no, it's ironically I have never heard of a coup where the president and the military is good friend, and then them call back for the vice president who was in South Africa to come turn president now, which is three of them is friend. It's a big thing. I don't know, it's a big thing going on. So, you know, you have to watch it and see what I do, because, you know, them say Mugabe is the most educated African leader. He have so much doctorate and this and that. And he was one sir. Can you believe that? Mugabe was one sir, you know. And him dash for that. And he was part of the Commonwealth and that dash for too. You know, as a matter of fact, it's them take him out of the Commonwealth too, but him no mind it. But after 93-year-old, 90-year-old, him forgot resign still. You can't hold on from power for so long, Rasta, and expect, you know, things are going to go on the same way. Because if you elect a vice president, it means you and the vice president might depend on the same wavelength, and the three only used to fight war. So we are trying to figure out is what really going on there. So, and some news where I hear from in down there say, why if you have enough things to do with it? I don't know if I want to go there, so Rasta. But according to where I hear from down in Zimbabwe, the wife have enough things to do with the whole part, confusion and mix up with go on there. So, but we can explore that still. But Mugabe has done his work and do his job, and most of the Western world hate him, and people who follow the Western world who don't even know what them I say don't like him neither. The only thing I say about Mugabe is that him need to go, him need to resign, which him did, but under pressure from him bridging them. I'm bridging them, make him resign, you know. Yeah, I'm bridging them. The military man I'm bridging. All where you want to hear the military man I'm bridging. Maybe that's why you don't hear no bloodshed. Them sit down and work out certain things and say, all right, you want to make a resign, but you want to bring back me other bridging. Which is the other bridging when they in South Africa just come up the next day and say, all right, make us start over this thing. You know, because the West not like the military man neither. The West not like the military brother there. I forgot his name, you know, because them are saying him did some atrocity where they go on there, so. But when I follow with them, I say, because them the same thing them say about Idi Amin, you know, and because Idi Amin decides to run out all of the Indian them in Uganda, because them did bleed the country dry. And them spread up all sorts of things about Idi Amin that people start to know like Idi Amin. Same with themselves with Gaddafi. Whole heap of things them say about Gaddafi, because Gaddafi did move Africa upon a next level. And next level. So all the people them where you hear the West declare persona non grata, you know, and this and that, you know. We have to really take a stock and say why them not like them, why the British not like the British and the American not like Gaddafi, why them never like Idi Amin, why them not like Mugabe, and why them hold on and Nelson Mandela so tight. We have to figure these things out, you know. Why them not like Winnie Mandela? We have to figure out these things. And them kill Patrice Lumumba. Them never did like Jomo Kenyatta, because Jomo Kenyatta rise up against the British in the Ma uprising. So more time we have to really check who them like, we no like, who we like, them no like. It's just so it go. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know what people might hear that terminology there yet. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And when you look on really the enemies of my enemies, you wonder how come we make them become our enemy too. And we don't realize the conspiracies abound. Conspiracies abound because we say no, America to these serious investigation about Russian involvement in the election. You know how much election America, you know how much government America trouble. You know much you know much people did that search for democracy. And America go and the so-called democratic government will rise up in the country them, become dictators in the country them. And when the people rise up against them and decide to them are going to have a different government, the American regime topple the government them and CP with for them thing when the government now go for them way. And that also happened in Jamaica too, in the 70s. When everybody did a run go away because them say communism a come to Jamaica and them do all sorts of things for sabotage and do all sorts of things. This is no political party thing. This is a real thing we are talking about, we documented. A whole heap of the country them where America going to go invade and topple the government them. Eventually the government come up and fight against them. We are talking about all the one where them killed the other day named Bin Laden. Them used to arm Bin Laden to fight against Russia and them. And when Russia and them ease out after 10 years out of Afghanistan, Bin Laden just come boof and just said, no, we not work with you, know, because we not defend Arabia. And him not defend the government in Arabia. So he become now the main problem to America till them kill him. So we have to wonder what is happening. Why is it that every time America go in our country and make the country become so terrible and the people them get so terrible, and then now them declare, say, look what them do with Iraq. Look what them do with Iraq. Them break Iraq and now them can't fix it. The devastation will take place in Iraq. Can remember them Saddam Hussein for fight against Iran. Them Saddam Hussein for fight against Iran, and when Saddam Hussein fight against Iran and now him start to develop him own levels of thinking now, them fight against him to and get rid of him, which give rise to a next little idiot thing them named ISIL. It's a whole heap of things, So now we look at Africa now and we say, Africa have certain leaders, and we start to demonize the leaders them. Because the leaders them decide, say, look now, we're not going to fool away, we are going to develop our own strategy. No matter, like Kwame Nkrumah say, we must be free. We must be free to be wrong. We must be free to be wrong. It's just so it go. So here we are saying now. Mugabe did a long time. The problem I find with African leaders is that them don't know when to give up power. Them don't know when to give up power. You understand? Them don't know when to give up power. Mugabe did it, and him do him work. And I say, him should have resigned still. That is what me I say. But that not take away from the self-reliance and standing up against Europe, especially England and America. Stand up against them. Even though them country they look like, and people are saying, look what him do the country, not him do the country, so. It's because them decide them to stand up for themselves. And when them decide them to stand up for themselves, them start all sorts of things. When the white people them were plant there, the farmers them in a Zimbabwe are plant. Flowers them are plant and I send guy Europe. Flowers can't eat. Flowers will put your place. And the man them will take away the land and give the black people them. What people say, well, them take away the land and them will live high and, in people them till they suffer. Look here, man. That is how the thing go when you start to realize, self-reliance is the greatest science. And if you have so-called superpowers that realize you're not depend on them, they're going to make it very difficult for your country move. And as me say, it did happen in Jamaica. It was happening in Jamaica. Look how Cuba, look what them do with Cuba. You know how much time them try to kill Castro? How much time them put this in a cigar, in a food, try bomb him up, all sorts of things, and Castro survive. Castro dead just the other day. Castro dead. And Castro country, even though them sanction it for 40 odd years, embargo, 40 odd years, Castro lead Cuba to have a better health system than the big bad America. Better health system. No illiteracy. A firm army. A little island, 90 miles from Jamaica, have such a firm army that he could afford to send him army into Africa, in Angola and other places. And him survive them. So that don't mean that you can't survive. But you have people who say, Castro devil, because we grew up come here that. We grew up come here to Castro this and Castro that. And when man they come with them call democratic socialism. All of the people them with them money, so them around here because I'm going to bring Cuban thing here, so. And then them start the sabotage from Jamaica. All sort of thing, you can't get certain food, poison flour, coconut are dead off and all them something. All sort of things start happening in Jamaica. People that sell them house a little bit of money for run go to Miami. 5 flights a day to Miami. And now the whole heap of them want to come back. Because them left them house, yeah. Some of them just lock up them house and run left it. But them still have them house still. But it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing we find ourselves in now. We're going to play a little clip with them a man that talk about Mugabe. But before we go that, I could say if we can find I see where we're there. We're going to see if we can find this and work it out. All right. All right. All right. You know, I'm going to play this version now first. This is one of my favorite poets. And him is a Native American. We want to play this poem by John Trudell. You know, we had the opportunity and pleasure to perform with him and sit down in conversations in California with him. He died a couple years ago, he died, but a great poet, stand up for the rights of the indigenous people of America. You know, where still a struggle for them security and them justice that them never get to over the years when the Europeans go there and take with them land from them. Land that them hold sacred was snatched from them as usual. So we want to play John Trudell, a serious poem. We want the people them listen to him. We used to play them in the early days, but something just tell me to play him.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark.
Hear this! All original rude boy.
Throughout his career, Ninja Man has earned a reputation as being one of Jamaica's most popular dancehall DJs. Born January 20, 1966, Desmond Ballantyne, sometimes referred to as a Don Gorgon, became known for his controversial and pro-gun lyrics and his stuttering and melodramatic style as a DJ. Born in Anoto Bay, St. Mary, Jamaica, Ballantyne moved to Kingston at the age of 12. He launched his DJ career with the Black Culture Sound System at age 14 as Double Ugly. In 1980, he joined the Kilimanjaro Sound System, and there he got the chance to learn from established DJs Supercat and Early B, and released his debut single as Ugly Man. That name did not work very well for him as an artist, however, and so he had a name change to Ninja Man. This name may have been inspired by the numerous clashes that DJs of the time would have in their quest to lyrically slay one another on the stage in front of factions of admiring fans. In 1987, Ninja Man recorded and produced himself his first hit single, Protection, a duet with Courtney Melody. The following years brought many prolific collaborations with producers like King Jammy, Lloyd Dennis, Phyllis Fatis Burrell, Redman, Aini Aikamose, Bobby Digital, Augustus Gussie Clark, Steely and Clevey, and Henry Jonjo Laws. It has been said that Ninja Man comes up with all of his lyrics on the spot in the recording studio in a freestyle manner. This is a gift which has been attributed to his ability to win countless lyrical battles with contemporaries. His hits over the years 1989 to 1992, like Murder Them, Permit to Bury, and Above the Law, reinforced Ninja Man's image as a violent, rude boy. One of his most infamous rivalries was with Shabba Ranks, leading to a number of lyrical clashes. Ninja Man had quarrels with Flower Gun and Supercat during their heyday in the dance hall. In 1993, criticism of Ninja's violent and pro-gun lyrics arose and led to a decline in performing gigs and chances to record. He always maintained, though, that his gun chants were only lyrical confrontations for the music industry clashes. By 1997, Ninja Man had changed his name once again, now performing gospel reggae songs as Brother Desmond. He sought help to fight his crack cocaine addiction in born-again Christianity.
Read this. In the name of Jesus, I may say he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall bear the shadow of the Almighty. And if you come to serve the Lord, you serve him in the true and living faith.
In March 2009, Ninja Man, along with his son Janil, were arrested and charged in connection with the murder of Ricardo Johnson on Mall Road in Kingston. Ninja Man was granted bail for the sum of $2 million Jamaican dollars in March 2012 and was scheduled to appear in court on July 15, 2012. At least 58 jurors were needed for the start of the trial, but only 15 showed up. The trial was rescheduled to start again in April 2015, but was again postponed and rescheduled to start in January 2016. While contracted to Down Sound Records, Ninja Man, along with Joe Bogdanovich, produced several stage shows in tribute to taxi men associations, giving away cars to lucky taxi men. In 2015, Ninja Man parted ways with Down Sound Records and opened his own picture frame studio on Blackwood Terrace in Kingston. On November 20, 2017, Ninja Man and his co-accused were found guilty of the 2009 murder of Ricardo Johnson. And now, to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. "Do not hurl a lance if you cannot aim correctly." Quotation from the Hosea in Africa. For Jamaican roots and culture, I'm Pat Clark.
History of Ninja Man, which is the man there, the tongue of many people, I don't know, them guys sentence him 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time. So we don't know, I got to work out this, but we can see what happen. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. So we just talk about Mugabe a while ago, and we just say it's one of the leaders them where them teach with for 8. You understand? Just like most of the leaders them where we say, I do something that is not in line with white supremacy or in line with them former colonial masters. You know? We didn't meet Mugabe when him come to Jamaica, so yeah, we did Bridging and go meet him in a Pegasus. We go to Zimbabwe, never get to see him. Them say he was out of the island, out of Zimbabwe. Twice we go down there out of Zimbabwe, but you know, Zimbabwe money is exchange money. You have one US dollar, you could have a millionaire down there if you have a US dollar, believe you me. But you still have a colony of white people who live in Zimbabwe, all you hear them attack, you know. Because when you go to Zimbabwe, you know, I know only black people in the place, especially you go to South Africa in your line, you go up on the plane and go through Zimbabwe, South Africa. And when you look on the plane, it's full, and then when you reach Zimbabwe, only by the white people them come up. So it's not like saying no white people are there South Africa, no white people are there Zimbabwe, but it's just that Mugabe decides Zimbabwe belongs to the Zimbabwean people, unlike South Africa. You understand? Where Nelson Mandela now, after a film little stint as president, when him leave there, the land still and the economy is still into the hands of the foreigners, and who claim now say them is Africans, and also the church, the Dutch church, and the gay people them, and them control South Africa really, because South Africa is the only African country will legislate homosexuality. Yes, South Africa, the only African country will legislate homosexuality. Yes. Okay, so we want to play this clip here about Mugabe. I could see if we line it up proper, yes or no.
For several years, I've been very interested in Zimbabwe because Robert Mugabe is pretty much the only African leader trying to totally dislodge white power in Africa. A little history lesson on Zimbabwe. White supremacy came to Zimbabwe starting with the genocidal lunatic Cecil Rhodes. The country was then renamed Rhodesia. As usual, white power attempting to erase a people by trying to rename them, since names link us to a specific time, place, and culture. About the only thing that remains of Cecil Rhodes today is the so-called Rhodes Scholarship. Many presidents and so-called white liberals have gotten it and are proud of it. The Zimbabwean people did to Cecil Rhodes what all Africans do. They fought him until they won. But, as so often happened, after the Europeans lost power, they may have lost the war, but they won the peace. In Uganda, the British installed Idi Amin to be their puppet and protect their interest, which he did, until he eventually became more willful than they were willing to allow. He tossed out the Asians and denounced the whites. They've claimed, with hardly any evidence, that he murdered thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions. Of course, not a single word of this is true, but it's been repeated so often that people have bought into it. In Kenya, the Brits had no problem letting their hand-picked puppet, Daniel Moi, run things for over 20 years. And when the people eventually barred him from running again, he passed the torch, or rather the knife, to yet another white stooge, Mwai Kibaki. I don't think I have to tell you that South Africa's first black president was himself handpicked by the very whites whom his so-called Truth Commission has arbitrarily decided to exempt from any and all prosecutions. Anyway, Robert Mugabe was a good little white boy for a while, doing as he was told, securing and protecting white interests. He killed anyone who threatened his rule, and the Brits had no problem with it. After all, he didn't touch the land they had stolen, nor was he interfering with their stealing Zimbabwe's minerals. They loved Mugabe back then. Ah, but they're singing a different song now. To hear the good white folks tell the story today, they sound like the police chief in the movie Casablanca, simply shocked to learn that Mugabe had committed ghastly acts of violence against people back when they were giving him praise and adulation.
The knighthood. Foreign Secretary, do you believe he should be stripped of his knighthood?
Well, I was horrified to find out that Robert Mugabe had a knighthood.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that he was Sir Robert Mugabe.
You became Foreign Secretary without knowing that?
Just on the knighthood, Douglas heard you were Foreign Secretary when he was given the knighthood, I think.
I think not.
You were in the government when he was given the knighthood. 94? What were you in 94?
I was Foreign Secretary.
That was when he was given his knighthood.
But not by the. Well, I must plead total amnesia, not by me, and not, I think, by the British government. But
who else can give him a knighthood except the British government?
I simply do not know the answer to that. But
what I was going to raise was that he was known when he got that knighthood, whoever gave it to him, the British government, or I can't think of any other government that could give it to him, it was known already by them that he had massacred 20,000 people in Matabeleland with North Korean trained armies in the 80s. Why was he ever given a knighthood?
He hosted a Commonwealth conference, and conceivably it might have been in recognition of that. The Queen went there. He was, I don't say in good standing, he was a member of the Commonwealth alongside a lot of other people.
Of course you did. That's right. Robert Mugabe is actually Sir Robert Mugabe, a knight of the British Empire. So, if Mugabe was a loyal wannabe white boy, what changed? Under immense pressure from the African people, he eventually became dissatisfied with being the whites' lackey and decided to start taking back his people's land. This is where the British and the Americans declared war on him. The main cheerleaders against Mugabe has been the BBC, the British news outlet through whom the world has gotten its news about Zimbabwe for the last 30 years. They've accused him of everything but the Jewish Holocaust. Until Mugabe started reclaiming the land, that same BBC wrote nothing but glowing reports about him for over 25 years. But the instant he started taking back the land, they've had nothing but scorn. In order to make it clear how evil Mugabe is, the white media decided to manufacture a hero in their little drama. They chose the MDC, the so-called Movement for Democratic Change. The MDC was started in the late 1990s, back when Mugabe was still carrying water for the whites. The MDC didn't want whites out of power. They just wanted the money the whites had been giving to Mugabe to be given to them instead. The whites at first ignored the MDC, and the MDC couldn't get their candidates elected dog catcher. They had no money and no media support. But when Mugabe started reclaiming the land for his people, all of a sudden the whites started pumping cash into the MDC like crazy. The BBC decided these guys would be presented to the world as heroes fighting against an evil dictator. Of course, they never tell anyone that the only thing the MDC is fighting for is for whites to keep the land they've stolen. No economic policy, no agricultural policy, no educational policies. The MDC's entire political platform can be summed up in 7 words. Don't touch the land the whites stole. Mugabe is called a racist, but the BBC never once has shown the world just who the men who run the MDC are. Men like Ian Kay, a domestic terrorist charged with numerous counts of inciting violence. And this guy is a member of the MDC and is now a Zimbabwean parliamentarian. In a country where whites are only 1% of the population, how is it possible that this guy can be a member of the parliament? Because he's one of the racist white thugs who was running the place during colonialism. He's used the money he stole to engineer a place for himself in the government of a country he shouldn't even be in. Idiots like Morgan Chirangi are only puppets. It's bastards like Kay who actually run the MDC. Chirangi does what they say. But back to the whites' PR war against Mugabe last year. Realizing they couldn't pull in Iraq and gin up a quickie excuse to invade because everyone would recognize it as recolonization, the whites in London decided to take out sanctions instead. And when that didn't work, they asked the U.S. to do the same. The president at that time, W, gladly obliged. Pay attention, because what comes next is crucially important. The U.S.'s very first move was to freeze credit against Zimbabwe. I'm sure you've heard the term credit freeze the last 10 months. It's a credit freeze by the World Banks that has brought the U.S. to its knees, destroyed the housing market, and caused a global economic catastrophe. I highlight that so you can understand how important credit is to a national economy, even the U.S.'s. The U.S. still has working farms, working factories, and a service sector, but credit alone has caused nearly 10% unemployment in only a few months. This is what the Brits and Americans did to a country with nowhere near the financial resilience of the United States. This was when Zimbabwe's economic troubles started, not during the land reclamation. Neither the BBC nor any other part of the white media has told this story, but you're about to hear it now. They instead talk about Zimbabwe's economic woes, and they always talk about the whites being forced off the land they stole. Check it out for yourself. Whenever Zimbabwe is mentioned, without exception, the article or news broadcast will talk about supersonic inflation and then immediately talk about the poor, downtrodden whites who the mean old Mugabe is pushing off the land. This is done in order to create a false association in your mind between Zimbabwe's economic problems and whites being evicted from the land they stole. Even though Zimbabwe's problems are not at all related to the land reclamation program, rather the freezing of credit, financial assistance, and assets carried out by the U.S. on the behalf of Britain. They also keep talking about the farms, like the whites are just Farmer Joe working to feed the Africans. Let's get one thing straight. The Africans were no better off food-wise before Mugabe started taking the land back. The main people who benefited from the white so-called farmers in Zimbabwe were the whites in South Africa. The Africans have never had full bellies off of whites owning the farmland. But that's the way propaganda works. They want you to think that reclaiming the land has caused massive starvation, when it hasn't. The sanctions have hurt Zimbabwe, not land reclamation. And the BBC is not a neutral observer in all this. They are a zealous advocate for the whites. As far as the BBC is concerned, hey, we stole that land fair and square. Now, how is it that they can get away with these lies? Because we, as black people, do not ask about it. This is why the white media will do interviews with the bootlicks and the MDC, but nobody thinks it strange that not one member of Mugabe's government has been interviewed. In fact, he took out sanctions against Mugabe more strident than anything he ever did against Iran or Iraq. Neither Mugabe nor any member of his government or anyone seeking to advocate on their behalf financially can enter the U.S. Think about that. Ahmadinejad went to Columbia University and gave a lecture, even though he took Americans hostage in the 1970s. Say, isn't he supposed to be on the no-fly list? The U.S. has removed sanctions against Libya and normalized relations with that country, even though Gaddafi was responsible for the deaths of Americans, the destruction of U.S. airplanes, and numerous acts of terror against the U.S., for which he has neither been punished nor so much as apologized. But Robert Mugabe, who has not committed an act of terror against the U.S., not supported anyone who has not even spoken in defense of anyone who has committed terror against the U.S., has sanctions put on him. So why is he on a terror watch list? Why can't he enter the United States? When Mugabe won the last election, the whites realized he was going to finally go ahead and toss them all out. That's why we saw the fake outrage from them last year. They tried to go to the African Union, figuring that because they had created the African Union and had most of its members on strings, that it would be a simple matter to get the poor Africans to denounce Mugabe. And after that, they would get the Africans to authorize the Brits to send in the Marines. Of course, it didn't happen that way. The AU rejected what was an obvious attempt at recolonization. So, the whites went running to the UN instead, figuring they would get their way there. But Mugabe had already shored up his political support on the UN through the alliances he built with China, who, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, has veto power. And Russia also joined China in vetoing the Brits' plan to move forward with military action against Mugabe. The whites howled and screamed about it. How corrupt the UN is, because one vote is all it takes to derail the whites' well-laid plans. But those same whites have no problem when the U.S. is the only Security Council member to vote against condemning Israel for its violence against the Palestinians, or when the U.S. votes against a resolution condemning racism. Zimbabwe is a small, poor, weak country. But even so, Mugabe has outfought and outthought the Euro clowns every step of the way. It just goes to show, anyone who says you can't beat the whites at their own game never tried. This is why the white media can't get enough of hating the man. To them, he's like O.J. Simpson times a million. Every day they see him, they have to look at a black man who has shown the world that whites can be kicked around, punched around, beat around, thrown off the land they stole, forced to give back the money they robbed the world of, and that if the non-white world bands together, even the U.S. can't do a damn thing about it. It is the single most dangerous example of defiance toward white power that the modern world has ever seen. But most blacks don't even know that it happened. What happened to Africa under white rule was the same thing you see today, a relentless PR war to convince the world the Africans were primitive savages and they'd be better off with whites in charge. They can't force the issue, so they need to use the last bastion of white power, the media, to fool people into coming to that conclusion on their own. This is why they cannot allow Mugabe's people into the country, why no reporters will talk to him, and why they must demonize him day and night. Mugabe represents the greatest threat to white power the world has ever seen in the modern age. He's no Nelson Mandela, no stooge. He's a man, a black man, standing on his own 2 feet. No, I don't forgive the thousands of lives Mugabe took. But as it stands, he is fighting for the right thing now. I wouldn't build him any monuments, nor would I praise him. But it's not Mugabe I care about. It's Africa. So I support what he's doing. Because it's way past time somebody had the guts to. This is why President Obama extended, yes, you heard me right, extended the sanctions W took out against Zimbabwe. That's right. Obama is carrying out the whites' orders. And he has no problem letting Zimbabwe's government leaders into the country just so long as they're leaders that the whites approve of. If the whites were really so concerned about electoral fraud and election-related violence in Africa, why haven't they said a word about Kenya? Because at the same time we saw whites working themselves into a lather because some white troublemakers said their votes didn't get counted, in Nairobi, the British-backed dictator was busy killing over 1,000 of his fellow Kenyans and displacing tens of thousands more. Just so you know, even the most outrageous death tolls Mugabe has been accused of in 2008 only came to 130 at most. And that's from the opposition party, who I'm sure had no incentive to lie. All the world press talked about the real massacre going on in Kenya, the real barbarity taking place by the British hand-picked stooge in Nairobi. But for some reason, the BBC didn't hear a word about it. The British government didn't go to the African Union and demand that their hand-picked puppet Kibaki be denounced, and they sure as hell didn't go to the UN either. 2 disputed elections, claims of governmental violence in both cases, but one saw the death toll reach astronomical heights, while in the other case the casualties were negligible. Yet who did the whites choose to go after? See, it's never been about land or human rights. Since when have the Euro clowns ever cared about that anyway? It's always been about supporting and maintaining white power. Mugabe has shown the world that even the poorest of nations can overthrow white control if they have leaders committed to it. Every African on the planet needs to be watching this one. Mugabe, regardless of his faults, is showing us the way. And for that, we should support him.
Maria Stratford, lecturer in photojournalism and professional communication, radio show host from RMIT University, Melbourne, Australia. She have a documentary screening at the University of the West Indies. For those of you who don't know, yes, there is a documentary screening. Well, it's not really a documentary screening, really. It's a photo exhibition. Yeah. We really want to find out if it's the 2 of them shab up there. we could talk to her. Good night, Miss Strafford.
Good evening, Muta.
How you do?
In actual fact, you were right in both cases. It's a documentary film on the Rastafari who repatriated to Ethiopia, and I made that for my PhD project that spans from 2008, 2009, and 2012. That's when I shot the documentary, and at the same time, I was taking a whole lot of images all over Ethiopia. And so there's a photographic exhibition which celebrates the diversity of Ethiopia as a nation, as a country. And then there's the documentary which is about the repatriates and gives voice to the repatriates so that people can hear them and hear their stories.
You know, I hope it's not closing on Friday or Saturday. I need to come and see those photographs.
I would love you to come down, Muta. It's not open on the weekends, I must stress that, because someone from Ochirias came down to have a look at it on Saturday, and the museum is closed. It's in the new...
So when it's going to be open? Friday?
It's open Monday to Friday.
Okay. What
from
time?
10 in the morning
From
till
10?
4 in the afternoon.
Okay, all right. I'm going
10
to
in
come
the
on
morning
Friday.
till 4. But if you want to watch the documentary because it's 40 minutes long,
Yeah.
you would need to come around 3 o'clock. So you can look at the images, we can talk about the images, and you can watch the documentary, which brings up lots of questions and lots of discussions when people are watching it.
So how long it's been going on now?
terrific.
How long it's been going on?
Well, it's the total amount of time is 3 weeks. So it started on the 6th of the 7th of November, and it's going through till the 30th of November. But the curator, Dr. Susan Francis Brown, is saying to me, "Oh well, maybe we'll have it up on the Friday as well, 1st of December." And then it'll be at the end of the week. And so hopefully it'll be up till the 1st of December. So you've got the whole of next week.
I need to come.
I'd love you to come and see it, really.
I went away on this cruise, and now I'm back. It's a lucky thing that they remind me about this interview, because I would have never remember say I wanted to come up there. Yeah, but all right. So tell me something now. You know, there's this what you call coffee table book, a big book by two ladies who go around Africa, and I don't remember the name of these women, you know. I have the book in my house. It's two large books, and they have a very wide array of Ethiopian imagery in these books, but Africa.
I think I actually know the book you're talking about.
It's two ladies.
Yes, I think I know them, but know the book, but I don't know who the women are.
All right, your book, your photos, I said book, your exhibition, is it like that? I mean, the images all over Ethiopia with, like, for instance, now, you have some women who put the disc in their mouth.
Yes.
And stretch their ears. You have those kind of photos up there?
Okay, so a lot of people who do the books on Africa and the Omo Valley people, the tribes down there, they concentrate just on that. And they have beautiful images, and they're very, very, they're important images and all the rest of it. But my images, yes, I do have some from down in the Omo Valley. I have several in the exhibition. One, well, I won't describe them because it'll just take too long, but I have a mercy warrior, which everybody just sort of stands in front of him. It's just him looking into the camera, and it's a very powerful image.
Yes.
And then I have 3 others of women from the Hama tribe down there. The situation for the Omo Valley tribes, who have been living in the same way for centuries, is dire, because the land is being taken away from them. They're making huge dams down in their area. The Italians are in there. The Indians are taking land. It's a dire situation. These tribes are experiencing a lot of loss of their land, which will then turn into a loss of their culture. But you will also see images of way up north, where you have the Ethiopian Orthodox churches, the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, the celebrations of Mescal, the finding of the true cross. And then you have all these other places in between, you have the shots of traveling through Ethiopia by bus, and you come across the most amazing sights, Nika, just amazing. There's 2 images in there that I really love, which is, they're straight out of the Bible. If the Bible had photographs, these photos would be in there. There's women standing around by a water well, gathering their water in huge pots.
Yes.
And then there's this, ceramic pots. And then the other image I call No Room at the Inn, because it just looks like
biblical
where
times.
Jesus and Mary walked
or your picture, biblical pictures, or your picture.
Yes. And then there are others of the repatriates themselves and their offspring who have been born in Africa.
Yes.
So the first generation of people now being born. And then there's the iconography of Rastafari.
Yeah. So tell me something. How much photos you have on display up there?
I have 45 images, so it's quite an interesting and very diverse number. And look, people like Cableton's manager, Miss Kemp, you might know her. She's been in 4 times. Yeah. She said to me the other day, I feel my DNA in this place with these images. So, you know, it's a great honor to me to have such positive feedback from people, not only from the documentary but from the photographs.
So
and it's been a learning experience for all of us.
You have prints up the photos selling?
Look, I am open to selling them. That wasn't the purpose of it, but if people want to buy it, then they can buy it.
I want to buy them. What size they are?
Sorry?
What are the sizes? What's the size?
The sizes are sort of, if we're talking about inch, we're talking about 16 inch by 20 inch. So they're a good size. They're a nice size, you know, nice size.
I want to buy them.
The whole lot. I'll sell it to you.
Yes, I'm coming up there. I'm coming up there on Friday, definitely. I can't come tomorrow because I'll be down here, but Friday, you said 10 o'clock it open?
It's open from 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm a late riser though, so I sort of get there about 10:15. I'm there all day, and so people can come in and they ask me questions. We discuss the images. I talk about the experience, and so I'll be there until 4 o'clock. But as I said, if you want to watch the documentary, if anyone wants to come and watch the documentary, make sure you're there around 3 o'clock because we close at 4.
Well, you put a little red sticker on them.
I must tell you that I am giving one image to each of because the music that, of course, I would use reggae music in the film. Of course, I would use reggae music. So I showed a variety of different artists, Big Youth, Coco T, Johnny Clark, a variety of different people. I've shown them how I've used their music, and they said, if it's for Africa, then use my images. So I want each of them, Bobby Digital, Dixon, Bunny Lee, a variety of people are coming to choose which image they want. And so, yes, so they will be spread around, but there'll be plenty more, Muta, for you to pick from.
Yes. Okay, all right. Well, all right, so remind me again, it's going on till when?
It's going on till definitely the 30th of November, possibly the 1st of December. And just remember that it's not in the campus. It's you go to the front gate where you enter UE in Mona, but then don't go into that
it's on the right
way. You look across the road and
it's a big building. It's a new building.
The new building. It's in the new building.
It's on Mona Road. That's Mona Road.
That's exactly on Hermitage Road, which I think Mona Road turns into Hermitage.
Oh yes,
Might that be right?
After you pass the aqueduct, yes.
Yeah, and it's a lovely little museum too. More people should come to see it. It's a lovely little museum about it. Most of the history in the museum is about the university, and so it's quite interesting.
All right, tell me about the documentary Rasta's Journey Home. What?
Okay, Rasta's Journey Home is. You see, the thing is that I'm a photographer and a documentary filmmaker, and I work at the university, and I hadn't done a film for a very long time.
Wait, just a minute. Me could just take some others and work it out. All right, we're going to take some other and work it out.
Yeah?
Yes, we're talking to Dr. Stratford about this exhibition that is at the university. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so...
Yeah, before we went to the advertisement, we was asking about the Rasta's Journey Home.
That's right. So that's the name of the documentary film, and people ask me, why did I do it on the Rastafari repatriates? And the answer to that is that I lived in Jamaica in 1976 and 1977 when the two sevens clashed, and I took a course in photography at the Jamaica School of Art, which is now the Edna Manning School. And so I was I was a student at a time when a lot of Rasta were in the dance school, the music school, the art school, and I was welcomed into the community of Rastafari from those times, from the 1970s. And I became a 12 Tribe member, and of course, as you know, in 12 Tribe, one of their raison d'etres was to repatriate as many people as they could to Ethiopia. And so I always wondered, after that, you know, I left Jamaica, but I kept in contact with people, and my son's father is a Rastaman from Jamaica, etc., etc. So I always had this contact still over the last 40 years with Rastafari. So for me, it was a natural thing to do, to research something that I'd always wanted to know, what actually happened with the repatriation in Ethiopia. How big was the community? What were they actually doing there in Ethiopia? And of course, because I'm a visual person, it was bound to be a visual medium. So it was a documentary film which also includes a lot of still images that are set to the music of reggae. So it's the reggae music that talks about Zion, being Africa, repatriation, those sorts of themes. And so for me, as a visual person, and after seeing what was around about the Rastafari as far as research had gone, there had been a number of PhDs and a couple of masters. They were all written pieces, and they were quite academic in the way that they had been approached, because in lots of cases, in lots of universities, that's what you have to do. You have to write in a particular style. But what that doesn't give you as the viewer, as the reader, is a sense of what these people are experiencing. So an audio-visual film, a documentary, serves as a platform for the repatriates to express themselves and have their voices both heard and acknowledged, which is different from someone writing about the experience that they are going through. And so what a written thesis does, it lacks that visual connection, you know, the body language that you look at, the tone and expression in someone's voice, the actual words that they're using. And that you can pick up when you're watching.
So how long is it? How long is the documentary?
Sorry?
How long is the documentary?
It's 40 minutes long.
40 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it talks about things like, at the beginning, there's a little section. It's not sort of, now we are going to talk about, but you'll see that there's different chapters to it almost, but they're not introduced as such. So you'll have a section where there's a number of Rastafari who talk about why they left the West, you know. I mean, one old Bobo Shanti priest was part of the Coral Garden massacre, and so of course he would want to leave. Then there's a brethren from Dominica who was arrested on a trumped-up charge of murder and put in solitary confinement for 7.5 years before he escaped.
Yeah,
so there's these sorts of stories.
The dread law in Dominica, the dread law.
That's right,
There was a shot on side law in Dominica against Rasta.
Yes, there was a thing called the Dread Act.
Yes.
And you could shoot and kill Rasta without any consequence.
Yes. A whole lot of people don't know that.
That's right. And so he talks about that. He talks about 150 of them were arrested during this Dread Act. You could shoot and kill Rasta without any consequences. Yes. They killed 50 or 60 of them. So he talks about that.
Yeah. All right, we want to wrap up now. We want to tell the people that it is going on until when? Tell you exactly when it's going to
Okay, so it's going on until, it's only Monday to Friday. Please don't come down, people. Don't come down on the weekend because it's not open.
How long will it last for now?
It's only another week and 2 days.
Okay.
That's it. So all next week and tomorrow and the next day. So by the 30th of November, you need to have made your journey down.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stafford. Stratford, we're leaving. We have to go.
You have to go.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing you and lots of people coming in to have a look at it.
Yeah, and put your red mark beside them. Okay, give thanks.
All right, give thanks and thank you for your interest, Muta.
Yes, that was a lady from Australia, Dr. Stratford. She's a lecturer of photojournalism, professional communication, radio talk show host from RMIT University, Melbourne, Australia. And she's the one who is putting on this exhibition.
Heal up, Mota.
Blessed man.
Blessed man. There, this one, just get a strong energy for your program and thing, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, because a long time I listen to your program, years now.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and I like the work you put in the country. Because you really need your work right now, you know?
Yeah.
And some of your positive reason and your talk them. Because the country going wrong with you.
Yeah, we not stop.
Eh?
We not stop, man.
Yeah, man, me rate that, man. Put my test, my listen for me, a youth.
Yes.
I go and I get to me, I tell you about years back.
Yeah, a long time
years.
Long time there, man, before Usain Bolt born.
And true, man.
So a long time we are run.
A long time, for real, man. Long time. Because you see, when me see I go in the country right now, in Jamaica, it thugs them I get higher for crime.
Yes.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah,
you see it? You used to smoke weed and drink liquor and all one vibes and thing, but every day here say 10 dead there, so 2 dead there, so 3 dead there, so I mean, I like the vibes there.
How much woman dead over there, so?
You see it? I say, no, that wrong, man. So my time I walk on the road, I really want to say, whenever today for your day, I'll come out tomorrow. Yeah.
I tell you.
Yeah, man, but
we are going through still, you know?
I show, man, for just go and live a life, you know?
Yeah. Give thanks,
for real, man.
Give thanks.
But you see, right now, you see, I big up my place and thing, and I big up some people and thing. I know the man listen to the program and I listen to it. Yeah, all up a big L I listen to the program same way. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, because I big up Chopper. Yeah, the man that chop up meat with him, cut with him cutlass and him knife and him thing, you know, jerk man and thing, you see it.
Yeah.
And the whole Mumpers and Crow, same way.
Alright.
Yeah, and big up the California Race Course Crow, same way. Local Star and DJ Greg and Fire X and the whole Crow, you see it.
Yeah, alright. Give thanks, brethren.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how is it? Yes, I tell you. Is the cutting edge, yes, Ian?
Muta.
Blessed.
Brethren, hey, well, I love little music there. All the pata there before it.
Yes. Nice so I'm going to surprise you with the next one.
You know, man.
I'm going to surprise you with the next one, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, well, it's about 2 weeks now, I try to reach out, but, well, you know, last weekend about but the week before.
Concrete asphalt for all the fort for we on the field.
Yes, I'm going well. The week before, boy, you want to hang out with my toenail till the end. I hope so maybe you will take in one more call. But I know, my damn never right now. I want me to want to talk about. But
well, I think I remember. Well, take your toe print, so I don't know.
Yes, sir. I don't remember. I think I don't want the youth. A youth did call where why when in talk it come in like say me and you on the same wavelength. Cause me you say a thing, I will figure the same thing you talk about. When the youth call, he sound when me and you say man, what a man sound like the girl that where him the one where they talk fast and I say him God a homosexual and beat up Jesus up there and all them so my treat Jesus bad.
Yeah.
Remember? Come here, you say you ask himself in call I'm going like a woman sometime or something like so.
Some girl thing said we
because I am not talk about the flat earth theory or something like so.
I don't remember when that talk about
brother. In kind, you know, because me the one call before him say one time he him say water always level the tech, the shape of the container and so it all level. But if you know say water no level, water adhesion and cohesion make the water always curve.
Yeah. No, the one with that talk about the earth flat.
The earth flat, yeah.
Yes.
But him they come talk on something say because if you look on water and anything, water always flat and level. Water never flat. You look flat to him, to we. It look flat to we, but it always curve.
Yeah, it's like the horizon. It's like the horizon. When you look out there, it seems like it's flat.
Yes, but it curved down. That's one reason. All right. One of the ways older than the proofs of the earth is round. When you look, like when you look on the moon and the eclipse of the moon, when the earth moving between the moon and the sun, and the shadow of the earth fall upon the moon to get the eclipse. It's a round shadow, you see. Well, not round, but it's a elliptical shadow, you see.
Yes.
Right? That's sphere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a sphere, you see, so you know say it's round. When you see, if you see people, if you're up on a hill and somebody have come up the hill, the first thing you see when they come up the hill, whether they have a basket or whatever upon them head, it take time come up till you see them head top, till you see them face, till you see them shoulder.
Yeah.
Because they come up the hill.
Yeah.
And I see them here when you look out on the horizon and a ship come to you. Yeah. You see the top of the funnel or whatever first before you go down till you see the bow, till you see everything.
Yes.
Or you see the sail first.
Yeah.
So that means that the ship is coming up a hill.
Yes.
So you know the earth curve.
Well, brethren, I can tell you something. Them have some people around there, including our brethren, there, where I show you some serious reasoning for showing you the world flat. And you can't talk to them because you talk to them and them not talk back to you, like, I say, all right, brethren, hold it. Because I'm not going to really debate if the earth flat or it round. You know what I'm saying?
And if the earth flat, somebody would have sailed off for a long time. Or would have fly off and see.
The argument, is that if the earth is round, the water that drop off of the earth, I show him say, but gravitation pull everything to the center. And it's like a different argument.
And must call the gravity, you can call anything you want. We make up the name there.
Yeah,
they make up the name there, say gravity, but there's a force. That a magnetic force will work to pull everything to the center.
Center of the earth, yeah.
Yes, so it's always acting on you. No matter when you jump up, you come right back down there. You understand? And there's another force that push you off still but one greater than one.
Yeah.
Because anytime you lick, if you put a book on the table, see how the book are push down on the table will push up back on the book.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I want some other people all right, I'll then Jesus.
I want to tell you something now. I know you love the whole thing them, I go and play 2 tunes and it's long time I have to play it because man call me on my yard and say, Muta, every time you say you're going to play it and you're not play it. Well, I go and play it tonight since I hear you the son now as a man who love them whole tune. So why you hang up your phone and listen to what I'm going to do?
Yes, sir.
All right,
all
sir.
right.
Yeah, man.
All right, Richard.
Give thanks. Okay. So what we're going to do here, son now? We're going to play this tune. You know why I play that tune? Because every time I play the tune, the next day or 2 days after people call me and say, Muta, you know, have the original version of that tune there. And guess what now? That tune they done over many times, Master Griffiths. Now, a whole heap of people believe, say, are the original version that. But we're going to play the original version for you, right at the middle of the night, Tell anybody to hear the original version. On the cutting edge. Believe. Mash up brains, We're going to mash up brains, for those who are not in the know and know, said that Bonawela tune is not the original tune. So, we're going to know. We're going to take this call, yeah? Yeah, we're going to take this call, yeah. Yes, Ian.
Muta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, give thanks to life. Mugabe.
Yes.
I have never seen Mugabe get so much people jumping for joy and being happy. So, while he's in, as he's now getting it while he's going out. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the people them feel say him should have resigned. I don't think it's because them feel say him is a terrible president, especially in Africa, because the majority of Zimbabwe and them don't know no other president.
Yeah, over 30 odd years.
Yeah, so I think say as a 90-year-old man, Them I feel say it's time to resign, and when them say I'm going to resign now, them really feel good and joyful about it.
No, but he was pressured in doing that because they're not going to impeach him the same day. Him say I'm going to give up, you know.
You must understand, say, that is the way of these politicians and politics, you know. It's like his friend, them a pressure him, you know. I'm friend, them a pressure him.
Yeah, because better you leave while you're ahead, you know, rather than you have to be kicked out disgracefully.
Most politicians in Africa, it seems that them prefer to be kicked out.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them don't want to give up power. You know, and I think that's scaring him to that the next person will come, gonna want to reverse all the things them fight for over the years. You know.
So that's why I'm fire the crocodile and them send back to him now.
Yeah, you know, and my wife was supposed to take over, you know. But
after the man who was next in line in fire him, which is the crocodile.
Yeah, but when I say no, him wife come between all of them things, eh? Because I remember saying wife run Ghana now too, you know.
Yes, because if that for the moment the people are protesters, you feel threatened.
Yeah, and maybe she's the cause of the whole thing too. No, I mean, if you say that, maybe she's the cause. That's why I say, remember, say, the man, who elect the vice president?
Without the president would be the one.
Yeah, and the military man. The man they used to fight in the jungle, if you want to call it jungle, you know. The man they used to fight white people in the jungle over the years, you know. You understand? So them is very close. So when you hear say a coup happen, and the man say it's not really a coup, the military man say that's a coup. You understand?
Yeah, because them never really take over and now run the country. They have him under protection, which is also house arrest.
That's why I say that friend thing I go on it, so where we don't understand that thing they talk. So after I sit down with him and I show him, say, watch your brethren. You have to do this, you know, or else we're going to do another thing now to make it look bad. Man decides, all right, I'm going to resign.
So it's a more like an intimidation approach.
Yeah.
Than the normal coup that will care not what happened to him.
But
because tell the country say he's all right.
Yeah, it's care for him why them say them plead to him. Because normally a coup that don't take over the whole country and just kill him.
Yes.
Yeah,
who associate with him and that too.
Yeah, so you can't say there's something more going on there where maybe we don't understand still.
Yeah, that's true. Only that, you know, I think he must have done enough for Zimbabwe already that he could have given up.
His name is indelible, man. His name is indelible. Yeah. The documentary, you know, you look at thing where we just play a while ago.
No, I'm not tuning in.
You just tune in?
Yeah, not very long.
Yeah, man, we just feel like a thing about why.
Ethiopia.
Yeah, we're always looking for that.
Yeah. But otherwise, he's a freedom fighter. But that have a big smear on my record for him.
Yeah, when people are smear Marcus Garvey too, when it come on try it, let's see, you know them way there?
Yeah, I can't call him coward
but we're not going to smear him because of that still. Politically, him is who him is.
No, well, if the good outweigh the bad, then you have to give him this title straight away.
Yeah, so that we are work with.
Yeah, you know, but give thanks at least it was done without any bloodshedding.
I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you, that's the main thing.
Yeah, because them things they always lead up to that if you don't be careful, you know.
Yeah, and destabilize the whole country and the whole weird place and all them things there.
Yeah, so no investors would want to go in. I don't believe in a foreign investors too tough in a virgin.
I don't know if foreign investors are going to go in there because the same watcher. Them don't like the military man neither, you know.
The crocodile. I don't know why them call him so.
Well, I don't know what I said. Them, the white people don't like him neither, you know.
Yeah, because he can't go do anything less for the country still, you know.
Part of the ones them who did massacre all the people in the earlier days. Yeah, so, you know, we have to watch chances. We have to watch chances still.
Yeah, so give thanks again, my brother.
Yeah, man.
No, before I chat, the Miss Africa beauty pageant.
Yeah,
some outfit that I see the pageant them are wear. That's their national
dress, yeah. Oh, I mean, say go get
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their national dress?
It's a national dress at a different country. Them do it in a national dress.
Okay, give thanks to it, man. It is so edifying.
May I tell you, man, it looks sweetie, man.
May I tell you, man.
Oh, gosh, man. You can't
and that's the diversity of Africa, you know.
You can't just imagine if we sister them where I go up on stage, did I dress them with them, man?
Oh, man. Oh,
gosh, man.
I've seen one with 2 horns.
Yes.
That is the national animal and the national symbol, you know. It is so interesting, man. I share it with so many one who give thanks, so may I relate to the IBAC.
Yes. Because
right,
my sister
brother,
will bring on the other day, Jessica, from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what people, when them look upon her, them feel a certain strength, man. Even just how to dress.
Yeah.
When you go at the poetry thing where you have to skip, and when you come along here, man, just how to dress, bring a certain aura around her with her traditional dress, man. It's sweet.
That's why I will give IRFM and its staff the #1 station to open the people's eyes and educate them, you know, man.
Yeah.
Because no other media wouldn't really even talk or play the documentaries.
No, them afraid. Them not.
Right.
I thought them will
yeah, about broadcasting commission and all kind of stuff. But long live to the eye, man, and to always keep doing these things, man. Because
more than likely, if you listen to another radio station and they talk about Mugabe, they talk about what BBC and CNN give them.
Yes.
Yeah, them not going to show the next side.
No.
You know, yes.
Because they don't want to be impeached themselves.
Yeah. All right, brethren.
Bless up.
Relation and controlling the people. You had a ship full of African men, women, and children who were at the mercy of the captain and all the sailors on that crew. And those men could have sex with anybody they wanted to. The women, the children, and the men.
You had to see 3 months tied down with these white men. There ain't no women there for the most part. When they start bringing women, they weren't even bringing women. They were bringing girls between the ages of 6 and 15 and raping them all. But they also were raping the men. Same things are happening on the plantation to demasculinize the black man.
Control the slave population is to rape a father in front of his sons, or to take the biggest, baddest black man on the plantation and do something horrible to him, to completely humiliate and emasculate him so that people won't respect him anymore. And that still happens to this day.
In the Caribbean, they had seasoning plantations, which were plantations used to break the slaves. And one plantation, or one place that had a lot of seasoning plantations, was Jamaica. And people have to wonder, what were they doing on these seasoning plantations that was worse than what was happening on the regular plantations? Well, one thing that they were doing on these plantations, especially in Jamaica, they were doing a process called buck breaking, where the white supremacist slave owner or the white supremacist overseer would literally rape black men in front of the whole black population in order to break his spirit, in order to break him down as a man, in order to show dominance against him, in order to show the rest of the black population that this is not your leader. I just made your leader submit to me sexually. And this happened a lot in Jamaica. This is why homosexuality is so looked down upon in Jamaican culture today.
And it was a way primarily of cutting down those who would rebel. In other words, it was a matter of power and control and domination. And they would call it buck busting, but it was really butt busting.
Slavery continued until 1865 for about 2 generations, right? So how do you reconcile that? You can no longer bring in Africans, but you still have the business of slavery. So they still needed Africans to do the work down south, especially after the cotton gin was invented. So you had the creation of breeding farms. 2 of the largest slave breeding farms in the United States were on the eastern shore of Maryland and right outside of Richmond, Virginia. They literally bred black people like cattle. They would have a strong black man have sex with a healthy black woman. That woman could be his mother, his sister, his aunt, his cousin. It didn't matter, because the end product was produce a child that I can sell, bodies that I can sell and ship down to Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. It was a business.
We had breeding farms in the United States, that would put one person from one plantation against another. We even had a system where if you were a breeder, male on one plantation, and a female on another plantation, or even on the same plantation, even if you were mother and son, they would mate you. And so I tell a lot of my patients and a lot of my friends, you got to stop using the MF word, because that was a description of what actually happened when the paper bag would go over the head to put one breeder against another when they were related.
Cutting edge, Ian.
Hello?
Yes.
Blessing.
Blessed man.
Yeah, man. What about?
Cutting edge.
How was your cruise?
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
As you're on the African thing, me just a quick thing. Me hear it's second time now, so I want to put it to you. You ever heard about that thing named Mandela effect?
The Mandela effect?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't imagine what it is, but you tell me what them say it is.
Well, people say in the Bible, like Revelations, it used to be Revelations, now it's Revelation. So like word changing without they change it.
So
like a guy said,
So Mandela coming at that?
Well, I don't know. Like a guy said, back in the days when the Bible written, it was wine skins. Now it's battle. So in his Bible,
hold on. You asked me if I didn't know if I hear about the Mandela effect.
Yes.
So what me I say now in relationship to the Bible, where you talk, Mandela coming at that.
That's why I want to know. That's why I call you.
No,
because me not really know. Huh?
All right, what them say about Mandela as it relates to the Bible thing where you talk about?
No, because they say words that change without they changing it, like a lot of words. So, for instance, the guy was giving me an example about Revelations in the Bible, where in his Bible the word change from Revelations to Revelation. It don't have the S on it anymore.
Yeah, so may I ask you, Mandela, what them change Mandela to?
That's why I say I don't know. Mandela not changed nothing. It's just I don't know why they call it the Mandela effects. But
so you call them say Revelation is Revelations now, so that is a Mandela effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. And wineskins is now battle, so it's a Mandela effect. So I don't have the
it's the first I hear that. It's the first I hear about it. It's the first I hear that.
Oh, it's the first I hear about it?
First, yeah.
I heard about it a few months ago, and then yesterday I hear about it again. So I say, let me call you and ask you if you ever hear about it.
No, the first me hear about it, Bridget.
Oh,
maybe
because
somebody
the
will
word
come and
changing
about it. Why them say Mandela effect?
No, I don't really know. That's why I'm really call you.
I don't know either.
Find out, but
give thanks.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I've never heard about it. I hope somebody can call and enlighten me. What is the Mandela effect as it relates to words changing in this time? Yeah, I don't know.
El Muta.
Blessed man, Dingo. You know, man.
Blessed love, yes. Quick talk. As a Gaviite, meaning a Pan-Africanist, who has worked with ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe for many years, very, very closely. We see the rejoicing by the racists and the traitors about the forced resignation of President Mugabe.
You didn't hear anything about it a while ago?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me say, as a person, as a Gaviite, it was worked closely for many years with ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe. I wonder to see the amount of lies by the British and American and other racist European media about Zimbabwe and President Mugabe. The coup that took place on last Tuesday, the 14th of November, took place because of the power struggle in ZANU-PF about who would be the next president after President Mugabe. Because what the error, the big error that President Mugabe made was when he sacked his vice president,
which is him friend.
Manwagwa.
Which is him friend.
Yes. Yes. And we also got educated and so on.
Yes.
And put in position his wife. 52-year-old Grace, to be the next president. Now she has always been for many, many years, very unpopular in Zimbabwe because she is rude, has no manners to the war veterans and people in the military and otherwise, and that type of thing. So she is the cause of his downfall because he did not rein her in and pull her in line to stop her from disrespecting. And our power hungry ways of wanting to be the next president. And I was, this is what made the military come in.
I was suggesting to a call a while ago, say, the military man and the brethren where we go to South Africa and Mugabe was ones where they did a fight.
Yes.
Them did a fight, and she coming at the mix side, and that match up the whole friendship thing.
Yes,
I never actually said it much of the friendship
because
thing,
we're talking the head of the military who is Chiwenga.
Yes.
And that is what has caused it. Because what has happened? It's our greed that has brought about the downfall of our husband. Because President Mugabe, had only 8 more months to serve out his term as president, until about July next year, And if he had not allowed her to, sack Manwagwa, the crocodile, and put her as vice president for her to succeed him, he would not have been overthrown by the army. Because
the military regime vexed, The military regime vexed about the woman there, After the 3 of them come up right through the years and come up and fight against white people, the military man vexed, say, he make this little woman come now.
Because she played no role, and she's rude and arrogant. She's the downfall, sadly. You see? And what happened is that it is not the people who remove President Mugabe from power. It's the army. And the same way in which the army is putting in Managua, the crocodile, is the same way they can remove him. People must remember this. It is the army that has done this. I am glad that President Mugabe has not been killed, and also his wife and so on. But people must also know.
No, but she left. She left Ghana, live Liberia. She not in Zimbabwe. She gone.
But what I'm saying is that his strongest supporters have been arrested, still in detention,
Yes.
And what Chiwenga, the head of the military who did the coup, has said is that anyone thinking of taking any revenge against any of President Mugabe's supporters will be dealt with severely. And the reason why he's doing it is out of his own self-interest, because ZANU-PF is one party, and if he allows people in ZANU-PF who support President Mugabe to be heard, then he's opening the floodgates for his section to be heard, because the Europeans don't like the army people and Managua either, because they've come from the same revolutionary material.
Yes, but remember say him did a fight, and him was marked for death by the British, the military man there,
Yes, Managua, he was in prison too, just like our President Mugabe was sent to prison for 11 years, and unlike Mandela, he never fell out on the last situation like what Mandela did in South Africa. And this is why they're upset, because they were hoping that Changarai, that traitor, and so on, would be brought in by the military now and Managua to a so-called unity government. But ZANU-PF, Managua, and the military have said it is ZANU-PF. So they're not allowing the British agent, Changarai and so on, to come in. Because that is what the British and Americans are hoping, And you notice in all of this report by the Line, BBC, Fox News and the European media, newspapers and otherwise, you notice how them don't mention the fact that the Zimbabwean economy is in problem, not because of President Mugabe, but because of the racist economic sanctions that George Bush and Tony Blair, the Americans called it Federa, said IDRA, against Zimbabwe.
Yeah, we just played the whole story a while ago. The whole story.
And you know where that reminds us as Africans in Jamaica? It reminds us of when the Americans launched the same kind of economic sabotage against Jamaica.
Yes.
In the 70s when they wanted to get rid of Michael Manley because of his association with Fidel Castro. It's the same thing.
Yeah, repeat the same thing that we just say a while ago.
It's the same thing, no different economic sanctions, racism, is economic warfare.
Yes.
So it is not people, it is not President Mugabe who was
is it sanction them? Is it
the economy
the embargo
of Zimbabwe. It is the racist Europeans, the British and the Americans with them economic sanctions.
Yeah, them do it with everybody, man.
With everybody. But we hear them repeat them lies, and you know, Muta, whenever lies are repeated, even people who know that is lies will start to believe it unless them consciously
say, no, this is a lie, you know. The lie will become true too.
Yes, because the constant repetition of the lie will make you believe if you don't keep yourself vigilant. So people must know this. And we say, the Theresa May here, she talking about the oppression of President Mugabe, those hypocrites and things. President Mugabe was elected every time. The head of state of Britain, Elizabeth II, has never been elected, and she has been in power since 1952.
She's 92.
That is 65 years.
Yeah.
65 years.
Bridget.
You notice them don't talk about that?
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly
elected her,
and
she has been in power since 65 years.
Yeah.
President Mugabe has been elected every time.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So people don't be fooled by these racist liars and the traitors. President Mugabe did not destroy the economy of Zimbabwe.
Well, I can tell you something, Bridget.
It's the brilliance of President Mugabe why Zimbabwe is still in a good state.
Mandingo.
And Zimbabwe has the highest literacy rate in Africa. President Mugabe who do that.
Yeah, Mandingo. I listen to that radio station them in Jamaica, you know, and every one of them I carry the BBC line, you know. Every one of them.
Because they are slaves. Every one of them. That's why I have no respect for them. And also the daily papers, them in Jamaica too. All of them.
Yeah, man.
Them carrying the BBC line because
see where them do Gaddafi, see where them do Jomo Kenyatta, see where them do Patrice Lumumba,
Kwame
Nkrumah, all of the African leaders, them. Idi Amin, every one of them.
Samora Michel, exactly.
Yes.
And it shows you how how most of the media in Jamaica is that they are the slaves of the European races because all them know to do is carry the lies of the BBC and the other European races and tell lies on them own African people.
All the while.
You see? Yes. This is why a program like yours is absolutely essential because can you imagine if we never have a program on IRFM like Cutting Edge?
Yes.
Our people would be at the total mercy of these traitors in Jamaica who continue to peddle the lies of our people. Why they don't deal? What people in Jamaica must also deal with is the total rejection of this so-called national ID thing.
Yes.
Total rejection, my African people in Jamaica. It's another form of slavery, telling you just like it is. We must not have any so-called national ID system in Jamaica. America don't have it. Britain don't have it. Canada don't have it. But them want to have Africans in Jamaica. You know why? They have always feared the Africans in Jamaica because Jamaica has produced the greatest African leader ever, Marcus Garvey, and people like Paul Bogle. There's always that fear that from Jamaica, there are always in every generation Africans who set the trend for African people worldwide. And this is why they always target Jamaica. Because once you can break Jamaica, the racists know once you can break Jamaica, you break the rest of the African world.
Yes.
This is a fact.
And I'm going to play something I know we prove that we're our next African attack. I'm going to play a little clip where I want to show the people.
Yes, it is true. So my African people in Jamaica and outside, Remember, Jamaican Africans are always targeted in every generation by the European races because they fear us, because they know that we are the ones, the fighting ones. We're not talking the traitors now. We are the ones who always spearhead the struggle against their attacks against us. And this is why they always trying to break us, and they will never break us. And sad news of a 15-year-old youth in South Bermondsey, London, who the police beat up. 15-year-old is critical in a South London hospital now. Claim that the youth thief a phone and beat up the youth. I can send on WhatsApp. The youth is critical. Let us pray that 15-year-old Terrell DeCosta Jones Barton, African, 15-year-old, beaten almost to death by the police. That
send the WhatsApp
from South Bermondsey survives.
We have to move.
Okay.
We're going to play a little clip now.
Mugabe forever. President Mugabe forever.
All right,
about him never control the wife there because problem theme. But President Mugabe forever.
All right, give thanks.
Every time.
Yeah. Yes, the Virgin echo back exactly the same thing that I talk about. You know, same thing. It's just ironical that, which is the part that I would people now want to tell the people in Jamaica say, first, well, I know you nobody talk about the link between the army, the vice president, and Mugabe in Jamaica as the ones them who, I don't hear the other media them I talk about, you know, the role where the woman have to play in the dismantling up of the whole friendship and the whole thing, and why the army decides them to go hold on for Mugabe, you know. Okay, so we want to play this clip, the last clip we play for the night, before we take no more phone call. Yes. Cassette this card. Yes, EL.
Blade Mutabaruka.
Yeah, talk quick, Regine.
Yeah, I know it's a quick talk thing. I have some little ways about you on this program, you know.
Huh?
I'm a Rasta for 20 years now, and this program I'm listening to.
Yeah.
And every night, Fireball. Yeah. I know people must tell you, when you take the call them, you have to put your mouth at the microphone, King Man.
What?
When you take the call them, you fade away more time. Like you're not putting your mouth at the microphone.
I can't put my mouth nearer to the microphone, you know.
No, but sometimes you talk, you can hear like you turn away.
Okay.
Like you turn away.
Oh, well, maybe sometime I look to the computer for select the music or play the advertisement.
And what again me a burn you for Fireball, man?
Oh, you burn me for that?
No, man, just a word speaking, man. But when me I say now, see, you on this program at 20 odd years.
Yes.
You me listen to and be a Rasta.
Yeah.
Boom. See, but the FM of advertisement, it fit you. Said them there 40 years and now them can't find forward.
Come
because
again.
Every time for the 20 days up on the program, I notice you alone can't in the studio by yourself. Because every night you've been asking somebody, say, what to do. 20 days.
No, well, all right. Wait, no, hold on there.
I mean, I'm an intelligent person.
Yeah, but here one our brethren, I can tell you all this thing I work now. This is one of the real talk show, music and talk, right?
Yeah.
It's me I play the music, you know, and it's me I talk. And them have advertisement over there, so and them have phone for answer over there, so. See, it's not that me can't do everything, you know, but you see now, through me I busy at talk sometimes the advertisement get missed. So me have to have somebody to remind me, say, watch out. You see the clock, the advertisement time, and me turn my back and I play the music over there, so now, and someone have to tell them, I say, all right, so where we do that, so now? Because the phone ring, me have to press the button. If somebody know in here, right now, nobody know in here with me, you know. So everything, if the button have to press, me have to press it. If the advertisement have to play, me have to play it. If me have to talk to you, so me have to talk. If I music have to play over there, so me have music have to play over there, so. So, in the day program, them have somebody inside us, so, and we work with it. In the night, the sister there, but she leave early, so. We have to work it informally. It's a human being kind of vibes we are work with, yes or no? Say, all right.
But what me I said for the next time, 20 years me I listen to you, I force me I call you. So big up yourself, Mutabaruka.
Yeah, but wait, no. I know all the while you used to hear that. The argument about when am I going to do, when I'm supposed to do now. I know all the while you hear that.
Enough time, man. Enough time.
Like how long? About 10 years now you hear that?
More than that, I want to know.
No, but don't go so bad. You know why I don't 10 years? Because I don't 10 years.
I'm not tell you, it could have reached before the night done, before the program done.
Yeah, but you see, no, it's not going to reach again because the program soon done. The program soon done.
Well, first time talking to you.
It's a laziness, but I can tell you something. It's a laziness, it's not me if you even work a computer over there, so you know. I love to work my computer with my music. But you see, for me, if you go over there, so now, it's almost like a laziness. Trust me. It's my fault.
My granny, I say, don't care.
You know, I don't care. I just lazy. If you say, show me, I forgot to study. Because yesterday, you know, when I do Ellie's program, you know, it's the nearest me ever go to work, everything, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah, when me that do Ellie's program yesterday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's the nearest me ever go for work, everything. And then even to that, me now remember say cash pot for come at a certain hour and the news not come. Because me use the cash pot at a certain time and stepping razor. And me use to the news for a certain time. Yesterday take me half yard.
I know me do I'm on concrete asphalt for now.
Where you about concrete asphalt for?
IFM.
Behave yourself, man. Where you about concrete asphalt for?
So much years. In my work at IFM. Even though I said 12 o'clock, the national anthem.
Yeah, but that a by the way thing, man. I about the man for man. Why? You never know about
that. 25 past 12. Oh, I'm sorry. This is national anthem.
So what the time when me no play it at all? No, man, you can't go out the man for that, man. Because maybe I'm one in there too. And that may I show you. Maybe I'm one in there. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Now, now come on for the program because probably God will wait for call you.
No, not no more. Play a clip here and you will hold up the clip.
Oh, okay. All right, my boy.
All right, listen. Yes. Right, man. Man, easy, no easy, no. Actually, you don't know we're going to show you at that time still, believe you me. And even to that, sometimes me just say it because I don't saw. Come here and say, what we are going to know? All right, click that. I don't know. Anyway, the brother find it and when we do it, I don't saw it go. Anyway, here one out. What we are going to do yes or no? We're going to play this.
Good afternoon, great people of Jamaica. My name is Kwaku Adu Jemfi Ampofo. I'm greeting you humbly. With humble respect, I speak with my brothers and sisters in Jamaica. There is something going on which I need to address because it is affecting the whole black populace. Because Jamaica is the eye of Africa. If something goes on well in Jamaica, it affects all the black people. Because Jamaica, as I have said many times, as Nelson Mandela also said, is the strength of Africa, a land full of prophets and prophetess. Jamaica, lend me your ears, humbly, with respect. I'm talking to you. I give you the honor and I give you all the utmost respect because you represent us as Africans. If Africa has a population of 3 million or 3 billion, each Jamaican, a person from Jamaica stands for not less than 3 million people because you are our leaders. You are our prophets and our prophetess. Jamaica, if you look back and you listen to yourself, during the time of reggae music, when Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bonnie Wheeler, Benny Spear, Gregory Isaacs, Jacob Miller, and those people were ruling, black people almost got united. we had a very big spiritual upliftment in the life of the black people because it was coming from Jamaica. It was pure and it was holy. It was cleaning us, unifying us as people. And we had the enthusiasm, the happiness, the strength, the courage, and the might that the future will be bright for us as people in Africa. The words, the wisdom, the knowledge, the spirituality of the music paved way for us to love ourselves and to be built spiritually. But now, the music of spirituality in Jamaica, from the Rastafarians, from our great-grandfathers, were spoken by Marcus Garvey, Sam Sharp, William Gordons, Paul Boglo, Nani, Akompong, and others are almost getting lost because today the dancehall music is killing the spirituality of what the people left behind. Keep your culture. Don't be afraid of the vulture. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. Jamaicans, you are people with wisdom. You weigh more than silver and gold. Silver and gold is what you are blessed with. But the wisdom within you is greater than what you can think of. That is why I'm talking to you today, to be on your feet and remember that you represent millions of black people as a person from Jamaica. If you leave the shores of Jamaica, the respect that is according to you as a Jamaican is different because the background is good spiritually. But why are you allowing the vulture to steal away your culture of purification, sanctification, and the holiness and the purity of the music that has been sung by your great-grandmen? You still have a living legend in the person of Boniwela, a living prophet, one of the biggest among all. You have every right, every opportunity, every chance to live up to your expectations without fear or hindrance. Because the land, I have been there, I have seen it with my naked eyes, filled with spiritual power. But you are giving way for people from other countries to intrude Jamaica with different spirits. But before it goes bad, I need to draw your attention to the fact that you represent Africa. So remember yourself and know who you are under the sun, that you are the blessed land. In the future, there's the possibility that if you go back to your roots and you pick up the spiritual sense in the wisdom and the power in the music sung by Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Boniwela, Benny Spear, Gregory Isaac, Jacob Miller, and what you can know, Mutabaruka, and the rest, Africa can be on her feet. We are looking forward to you as people because you are the people who can hear and tell us how we have to go. You are not many, but you are spiritually filled. But the dancehall music, individually sit and read and understand and ask yourself if it helps more than what you knew before, then you can be the judge. If it is not the best, don't think only for yourself. Don't think for your only self-esteem or self-happiness. But think that so far as you are a Jamaican, you represent millions of black people as a person. So think about the masses and then go back to your roots and pick up the music of wisdom. That will help to generate the power that we need to free ourselves from every bondage. I have been there, and if you go to the Maroon lands, why is it that there is peace over there? Because there is no infiltrations They still keep on to their culture. They keep to their roots. Help us as people in Africa also to keep to our roots. If only you start singing the songs of wisdom, the songs of praise to the Most High God who created us, whose power encompasses the universe, who has given Jamaica the wisdom to sing the songs of praises that Africans will follow, and we all live in peace and unity. Blessed the people of Jamaica. Blessed the children of the Most High. Blessed for the wisdom that has come to you. Take it and let's live up. For our time is up as black people to rule. And you are our leaders. You are our prophets. You are our prophetess. I've been there through the invite of Paul Boglo Foundation with the help of Sinclair. And I know what I'm saying. Never let the toil of Marcus Garvey and the rest be in vain. Blessed be to the people of the Most High Jamaica. Blessed.
Yes, can't call him name, but that was a message to the Jamaican people from Africa. But I don't know if I get too much information for one night, you know. Believe you me, but I just found out about the Mandela effect from a caller a while ago, and now I am going to tell you, for those of us who never know like me, the Mandela effect refers to a phenomena in which a large number of people share false memories of past events, referred to as confabulation in psychiatry. False memory of past events. Mandela effect. So, let me give you some examples of the Mandela effect. And one of the things is like what the Virgin just said. But let me show you examples of it. A very serious thing. It's a very serious thing. If you are suffering from the Mandela effect, when you start to hear things when that no go so. You know, you have some people who sing some song, and the word in the song is not what they might say. It happened to me all the while. It happened to me. You hear some song and you say, and that the man I say, but I not really that the man say still. Well, I guess that is an example of the Mandela effect, where over the years, you hear something when not really go so. You know, it's like you go into some other universe or some other time warp, time zone, when not really go so. So basically, that is really the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect. No, the Mandela effect. And them say it originated from people who did believe, say, Mandela dead. From before them say him dead. That is where them get it from. Them say him dead. Before you realize you say him dead. People say that too. People say that. Anyway, that is it. I say, look like we feel like we are getting too much information for one night. Yes, the brains. May I tell you?
Eel.
Cutting edge.
Eel, you hear me?
Yeah, man. I hear you, man.
All right, Moses. Give us thanks.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We give thanks to the program once again, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to say, it really opened up you see the call from Mandingo opened up a whole lot of things in my brain right now, because I understand what you must say, and at the same time I listen Cabo Saturday. Sunday. This brother named Campbell.
Horace Campbell.
Yeah.
If I'm gone, I'm not Ghana there, I think.
Yeah, so we want to find out now where...
Hold on there. You didn't hear the thing on my play?
Yeah, man, I don't hear it on and off. Never...
Mugabe.
Yeah, man, and the Virgin...
Where Horace about it?
Well, Sunday, basically, that emphasize him take away the land and all of that, but at the same time, it's a little crony thing going on, so him said the working class never really benefit from the reclamation of the land. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that really, because remember, we even, I love one thing just the situation with the lady still. Because obviously we see the behavior of she and a man where him say him closely associated somewhere with the party, and him can come out and say that we kind of respect that. Because some of the time when we have people around we and them step out of line certain way, we not go really burn them out because we not for them circle. You understand? Although we associate with the term, we always have vilified woman them still. But
yeah, but in this case, we have to look on the reality of the situation with the three man them and the woman, because the woman in it, you know, and she now was supposed to take over from Mugabe. That is where was that set up, you know, the lineup. But the three man them was brethren and sister, brethren before she come in at the picture. And the people them don't too take teeth with her.
Yeah, but one of the things that him say Mugabe kind of make a mistake when him get involved too deeply with a lady. And the thing is this also, in terms of the recruitment, in other words, then you're there in the chair so long, you have to make plans, you know, so boy. You know, separate and apart from the virgin, them around him from day one. But like younger people.
Yeah, but him can't talk. Why? You see, the problem is, you know, that there's a fear, I think, why I'm never resigned for a long time, because that same should have resigned for a long time. The reason why I'm not, because there's a fear that if him just resign so and give over to a younger person, the struggle would be lost, because they would have now get caught between the British and the opposition party we're down there. You know, see, so he might look forward to people who share the same history and can really move it in a said way.
And in a globalized situation now, where the Virgin, remember the tape where that play, and him say, yes, Amaga and Mandingo and that, it was say, them cut off certain trade.
Yeah, that is why the country crippled. It's not because him decides him run out the white people and take back their land. It's because that crippled the country, you know. It's just like Cuba, where them try to cripple Cuba. The sanctions and the embargo them against the country and make him become terrorists, even though him not threaten America and England and all them places.
But so with the trade restriction and thing, but Zimbabwe have a whole heap of natural resources still.
Yeah, but if you don't nobody if you send it to, if you're not trade with outside forces, you know, the market is run by certain powers, you know. That's why I'm turned to China. You see, him turn to China and Russia. See, but you see him reach an age now where it's very difficult for him to do more than where him do already. You know, him don't do what him do already. You know, so you just need somebody else. So you look at now a military man who did it with him. And him did sack the vice president. That is vice president run Ghana, South Africa. But now the vice president is back in the country as the president now. And the wife run Ghana, Liberia. I think it's Liberia she run Ghana.
Alright. But the next thing we want is time factor now, where I say, because remember out there, Bruce Golding, from when he did farm the NDM, he already talk about term limit. So what you feel say that westernized thing that we say term limit because as a man go say the queen in a power how long?
90, yeah, well she 90 a year, she have 60 a year, she have queen. She 90, I don't know, almost the same age like Mugabe she is. Nobody now tell her to step down.
But because basically two him rule and the same political system, the Westminster political system, we have election and all of them things.
Yeah, but like, he win the election all the while.
Yeah, you have election, but it's not like you say him are the king of Zimbabwe then.
No, but you see, there's well, Zimbabwe now no king. It's like Jamaica, no have no king, but you have a one who rule it. But when I say, you see, the thing with me personally, with leaders, when I say, them don't know when to move. There's a time when you have to move, You can't move under disgrace because it's a kind of watch where all the things that they do in history to bring your country to a level now. Then now, because of you not wanting to move, you become disgraced. And what is due to you is not given to you because of how you come out of power,
Yeah, I'm want to touch on this too, because I remember back in the day when the land thing did go on, I listened to BBC and I used to hear the correspondent that say, boy, we're not allowed to broadcast from Zimbabwe or in neighboring so and so. So I wonder when BBC established back in Zimbabwe. Because obviously the man when you watch somebody in the country in there,
The first time I go to Zimbabwe, you see, I never did expect to see British Airways, them call it.
Airline?
British Airways, yeah. I never expect to see British Airways in Zimbabwe. And I see
airline operate in them airport.
Yeah, and not only that, them have a colony of white people down there. Them have a colony of white people still down there, It's just that the land is not owned by white people again. You see, that is the problem where white people have with it, that a black man come take with the land with them thief, as you hear the man say. Them thief the land and a white man and a black man come take it back now and them has claim say no, him is a terrorist and him is this and him is that. And then them draw church.
When them use it too, then they use the Bible, them not come off so wicked.
Yeah, well, see them man, Mugabe and them man, they know that this Bible talk,
All right.
They don't have the Bible talk at all. You know what I'm saying?
And the next thing to know, in terms of the whole thing, I'm always and that's Jerry always said. He said every human being have a right to a living space.
Land is the basis of power. If you don't have no land, you don't have no power, man. Most of the wars them that fought in the world is fought over land. Up to this day. The Israel and the Palestinians land them a fight for. You know, see, when you look at most of the war, them now in China seas there over the other side, it's land that them a fight for. So,
and just recently I learned, say, I don't remember the name of the man, I don't remember what it go on, for some anniversary thing, but they mentioned this man where some British political person where they get the order for them occupy the land where the Israeli people, the Jew, them so-called Jew. Them.
Yeah, the British, the British make it a state, Zionist state. Most of the Jew them over there are Russian, you know. And Russia them come from, and Germany. Most of them are living in Israel and call themselves Jew. Are Russians and German them. If you're going to the airport, most of the people that live at the airport are Russian them, in a Tel Aviv airport. And Russia them come from. So when we look at the whole thing, land is a key factor in the whole development of people. And that is why when you hear them say 1/3 of Jamaica population are squatter, all them become squatter upon land where Queen Elizabeth and her friend them thief. And I call it crown land. And you don't have nowhere to live. Them say emancipation and them Lego the African them who was slave. And then them compensate the slave owner them £20 million. And you don't have nowhere to go. The way you go do, you're not going to go upon the same land where the man who did enslave you depend.
The natural reaction, that a survival instinct.
Yes, I know. If you in a Jamaica, you live in Westmoreland as a slave, and the man say, all right, you're free to go. Where more you do? All right, free to do what? Where you going to do? Them not give you nothing. Them not compensate you. Them not give you reparation or repatriation money or nothing. So what them want you do? You go up on the same land and you going to want to thief him coconut them too.
One thing
when you did plant yourself, you plant that slave, you plant the coconut tree for the slave master. And when him free you know you want coconut. Who for coconut you want? I feel him coconut.
Alright, listen now. Me hear yourself on the program Sunday, right? And we want a situation where some of the African countries them just develop I think them use the term on an international basis, bilateral agreement.
Bilateral, yes.
Where we can share certain things, certain resources with them are available to them.
Yeah, but
We're
it's
valuable to we can get it and vice versa.
The Caribbean should have deal with that so communication long time, you know. Instead of the North. You see, everything we run Ghana the North, you know. We Ghana America, we Ghana Europe. Well, there's a connection between we and Africa where we still not explore yet, you know. Our leaders don't explore Africa yet, you know. And that is really where we should have deal with, because right now we are lose half of North America and we are lose half of Europe. We are lose, you know. We are still out with land. The people them still not really have function with the system of government where the European them give away. You know, we need certain things to develop, and every development where we develop, whether mentally, physically, or spiritual, it's based upon where the white man give away for deal with. We don't have no concept of thought.
That same blueprint that we are working off.
Yes. You know, when you talk about Marcus Garvey, man say, boy, Marcus Garvey thing a whole time thing, and it's a joke business, When we dip on the radio and talk, man, I say, boy, this Africa thing, Muta does not this Africa thing, so I know all them foolishness there, you know them way there. Which is that I go save way.
Alright, Muta, we give thanks again, you know, and when we want to touch before we leave, you know. You know, say your friend the pass off, though.
Which friend?
Big singer, there, man.
No, talk him name now.
Della Reese.
Eh?
Della Reese.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Della Reese. You know, me I look on it on the boat, you know, me I say, you my brethren, I go call me, you know.
From Rumlane.
To play Della, you know. And you know, say me I have to go find her and play her film.
Yes, man, because, trust me, even though you love it more than me, but I guess I'm here second.
Hey, at 20 odd years, I play that tune upon Consolidating, you know.
And I find it one day upon YouTube and show me that some computer.
Yeah, man, name comment.
No, but it's like me I punch it in and it come up because it probably not really directly under our name and things like that. But me I'll try search it deep.
No, man, it's under our name, man. It name comment, Della Reese. Comment.
And I hear you mention Shazam, you know, and all the while that work, you know.
Me know.
But another neither. You know, say you play, me like, you don't think me like from North America, the black sister, them we always highlight the consciousness of the African spirit. You understand me? I want to time Mr. Jam one of the tune because you know you talk about poetry and vocal.
Yes.
And
yeah, give thanks to Shazam.
read it, you know. But it couldn't play it.
Oh, yeah?
Because sphere thing not really the for YouTube. Sphere thing the for a buying thing.
Okay.
I'm a respect that because, you know, a PR thing that, so PR bread and butter that, you know?
Yeah, all right. In respect to Della Reese, we're going to play a Della Reese then.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah, man.
Give her thanks.
All right, yes. Because as we have said 20 years, we have played this tune after this brethren, and every time we play it, somebody else get turned on to it. So you know, my brethren from Rumlane, where over the years, 20 odd years, they listen to me, and they never yet call and request a next tune. Can you imagine that? A man call a radio station for 20 odd years and him never yet call and ask for a next song but this Della Reese song. And now we see Della Reese parts way. Big singer. I could have played a couple till I know IRF. We could have get all the calls about I must remember, so this is IRF, a regular radio station. But you know, this is continent. This is not radio. This is continent. So, but we still have to pay respect to Della Reese. We never pay respect to Fast Domino, you know. We should have paid respect to Fast Domino, you know. Believe you me, we should have paid respect to Fast Domino. But we're going to pay respect because of that said brethren. We call for 20 odd years, I asked for this tune. The ranks with Dinah Washington, Ella Fitzgerald, and all them great African artists were born in America. And we want to livicate the song to Rum Lane, and that's what we call him. One time, ever woke him up. Well, maybe I know one time, but him come along, forever young, come check me out. I don't forget, say, you have some record for me, no, Bridget. I don't forget. Yeah.
Motor.
Yeah, what that? Yeah, man, you're up on the air.
Hey, yeah, night, Virgin.
Night, man.
You know, so the first time Mr. Mandela dead was George Herbert Walker Bush, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a reporter one time asked him during the lead up to the attack on Saddam Hussein. A reporter asked him, say, what happened to Mandela? And him say, Saddam Hussein killed Mandela.
Oh, yeah?
And the reporter them laugh.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So at the first time that me say Mandela, you know, the whole thing about Mandela dead.
Okay.
No. Back to the Mugabe situation.
That is a Mandela effect.
Yeah?
That is what you call the Mandela effect.
Well, I guess it sounds so.
Yeah.
At the first me really hear the term still.
Yeah, the first me hear it, but now me know as well, you know, so
yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, Mugabe, that's it.
Yeah. Me no hear much talk about the Lancaster Agreement.
Okay.
The Lancaster Agreement was signed in 1980, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, whereby after 20 years, the American and the British government supposed to compensate the white farmer them for the land.
The land, yes.
But them reneged on the whole the agreement.
Yes.
So I guess the land seizure coming in now because the white people are supposed to get paid for the land from the government of America and the British government.
Yeah, me and Miguel did talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't hear much talk about that thing right now, you know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and for them say Mugabe run the economy in the ground.
Yeah.
Right? What about all these economic sanctions from the land seizure start going?
Yes, up to now.
You know, them thing they ruin country in a
man, that rule the country, not him rule the country, and them rule the country.
Yeah, them stay outside and ruin the country. Because all these economic sanctions, so them don't say it work this way, but I see it work this way, whereby you're supposed to put economic sanction where I go affect the people, and then the people them now supposed to turn against the leader.
Yes.
Blaming the leader.
That's the purpose side. Drain the leader, drain the country till the people them cut the leader.
All right. Because the economic sanction usually take effect on the elite.
The people them first feel it.
Yeah, the poor people them usually are the first casualty.
Yeah. But you know, I the Zimbabwe, I go to one supermarket, you know, and I have a $50 US, and I say I need to change this $50 US, you know. And brethren, I tell you, it's when I give them the $50 US, I turn a millionaire. I tell you, the amount of money I get for my $50 is like a millionaire, don't let her thing. You know, but the money almost is nothing. The money was almost like the man decides they're going to start to use the yen as the money, the yen or the Chinese money down there, you know. And that, them the other thing to do it too, you know.
You know, so that's supposed to cause a red flag right there, so. That's supposed to cause a red flag right there, so within the Western establishment, you know.
Yes, because, all right, look on South Africa now. South Africa biggest trading partner was America, you know. Now guess who them are trading more now? The Chinese. So them have a thing named BRIC.
BRIC.
Yeah, when you BRICS now, you know, you BRIC again, you know. It was Brazil, Russia, India, China. And now South Africa is with it now.
South Africa, yeah.
Yeah, South Africa is with it now. South Africa
never. But what the R?
So more and more people are move them country away from the America way because them realize that America really not have them interests. You know, them really is a different thing. Anyway, we have to move though in a bridging. Yeah?
All right, Muta.
Yes.
And I hear?
Yeah, man. We say give thanks, you know. You know, so we will come forward a little more with the stepping razor, the art of war. And then we're going there Monday again, you know. We're going there Monday and Tuesday. What them call a program the Matrix? The program for easy skanking. You never know how we are do it. Yeah, easy skanking. Yeah, we are sitting for the glorious, beautiful lady, Elise Kelly. Yeah, so we start Monday. And we do Monday and Tuesday. We not do tomorrow because we are do our program still. So and we not do today neither because tonight, you know. Yeah, so we want the people them know say we there a little more, and we there Monday, and we there Tuesday, and we there Wednesday, and we there Thursday. I hear. Get your giddy. You wonder what time it is. Well, I tell you, the first day, the Monday when I come in here, you know, for the program, you know, I feel like it's cutting edge, I do. Because the place looks same way inside, yeah. Only when you go outside, you know, it's a day, you know. And I say, I get mixed up and confused, but totally confused. Them have, you know what confused me? Them have the cash pot at 1, and them have the cash pot at 3? No, not 3. Them have one at 1 and 10:30. Them have 10:30 and 1. Me no used to that, you know. And then them have the news at 11:45. Me no used to that either. So you can't know to be either get a play music and a play music, and I remember nothing about. Every time see somebody road coming every time see somebody road coming there, remember the cash pot, remember the cash pot, remember the news, remember the news. It not again though. Me get me mail on Tuesday, me kind of sick. You understand? It happened to everybody. Yeah, man, it happened to everybody. Because your brother complain now, say a man now play the 12 o'clock thing until 25. You know what I mean? But I really I feel good, and you know, we're just a farmer. You know what I mean? IRFM this. You understand? IRFM. I don't government station. Yeah, I don't radio this. I don't radio. Because if I was radio, I couldn't depend it. You know, serious thing. All Matrix, you couldn't depend radio. You couldn't do radio. No, man, because of that, when I say, me no qualified journalistically for be on radio with my weird language and my outspokenness and all sorts of foolishness. Yet still give me all day for journalism. So we broke down the barrier, that's all right, that's all, you understand? And first of all, I walk coming and with barefoot. You know what I mean? So, but me I say no, it look like me get employed all of a sudden now because if me depend on radio station 4 times for the day employment, that you know. Yeah, 1 time is 1, 2 times 2, but 4, no, it's employment that. Employment that. So, when name, me can't stop call Bobby Montague name now. Because Bobby Montague say in a parliament, say, me get rich off of calling them name for the radio. You never hear them say so? Yeah, man, Bobby Montague say, and I can see Mutabaruka. First of all, them say, Iman Cabo used to go to school, him include me. In a parliament, he say this thing, you know. Him schoolmate, Andrea Williams, and Mutabaruka, who has gotten rich off of calling my name many times on the radio. I wanted this man there, Rasta. So now, I want to tell him, say, I am employed. No. Maybe that's why I didn't call up him name so much, because I didn't really want to get rich off of somebody's name. But you know, it's not my last favor, because Elise is coming back. Elise is coming back. And when she come back, I am back to the unemployment line. Understand? But me enjoy it still, eh?
Stand by.
Yeah, me enjoy it still. And them two programs are our program list. You understand? Nobody no care what. It come right back to Mutabaruka, them kind of way. So we give thanks. We give thanks, say, a Princess Black still out there? Princess Black? I don't like what them out. Make sure I work them over the night, you know. Yeah, you know, them make she go home early, man. She make yeah, because she look like she, if she got a baby out there, she's salt, you know. I tell her, you know, because me don't know. Hey, I don't think I see me lock that door, they fast, you know. It's not that I won't try it, you know, but it's not that I couldn't do it, but I got fear, say, something not gonna happen. It's like, me no like old young baby, you know. There's something that me feel like, say, me gonna drop the baby. Yeah, there's a feeling that when me a old a young baby, me feel like the baby gonna drop out of me. And so tell me, give me, you can't take a picture of the baby. I said, no. Them she said, I mean, I want to take the picture. I said, sister, I tell you the truth. Never paranoid about old and young baby. You know, see, I just feel like them gonna drop. Yeah. But she out there now, but she operate at 2 o'clock in the morning. I tell you. If she ever take no out there, so call the security outside, make it call some doctor out there, so I make me say it on the radio. Tupac. So anyway, after call her Black Princess, you know. Oh gosh, man, her color is. Oh, the first time I say, I say, look like, yes, if you ever come my area and change your color. Me burn down area from her, burn up you there too, if you ever change the color. She too black for change her color, man. Nah, man, she not going to do that still. Me know say her baby not going to make sure do that. No. Yes, and me not going to make sure do it neither, even though me I know her man, but me not going to make sure do it. Anyway, we give thanks. We give thanks. Vita, how you know, man? Yes, Vita.
Me hungry.
Yeah, me hungry. Me hungry at Kingston too, you know. Yes, I want to hear up reggae pot. Why did I want some aki, you know? I'm going to reggae pot, and I say, reggae pot. I say, boy, the aki don't know muta, but here one now. Come back later. And I did the day yesterday, you know. And yesterday, me the day, yesterday was what? Tuesday.
Yesterday was Wednesday.
No. A Tuesday, me the day, but me go home. Me go home and come back, you know. Yeah, me go home and come back. But when me I go home now, me say, boy, I'm going to eat some aki, you know. You just say, no, aki. He say, all right. See me number, yeah? Tell me when you're done, if you get more aki. And when me I drive, going at the rain, you know, me hear the brake car, and I say, boy, you want to get the aki, you know, me just say, hey, me just turn back. Because me don't know, raw, cook, boil, bake, give me the aki. You never eat rock yet? You're a madman, man. Watch your man, man. Watch your man nose get long like Pinocchio. Don't say rock, your man nose get like Pinocchio. You look like Pinocchio, you know. You might about Pinocchio. Every time you tell lie, it get longer. Pinocchio, you look like Pinocchio. Anyway, yeah, raw aki. What do you mean, no, sir? I'm going to bring some raw aki come here. And when you taste it, you're going to feel it's an egg you eat. May I tell you, raw aki nice, man, especially when it's set up properly. Raw aki. Jamaican people afraid of it, but may I tell you, say.
No, it isn't gone from your take it out the pod and take out.
No, from you know, force open it.
Yeah.
From you know, force open it.
Yeah.
The reason why people dead for aki is because you have some old nigga a market where one split it with razor and scissors and go to it a market, and when you buy it now, it kill you. But if the pod open out and you take out the red part tonight and take out the seed and you wash it clean, I'm going to have to show you how to set it up, though. I have to show you how to set it up. May I tell you?
And how much years do I eat that?
From me 20 year old, 40 year old, I eat raw aki. I mean, can't eat. Then I want people eat rock. I mean, can't eat. I wait I say, man, the other day I go to Africa, they force me eat ackee long Africa. This year. All me I go to Africa, I say ackee. Because me say I want to eat ackee long Africa. Because whole heap of Africa no eat it. Just like all them say, the Asian them no eat susumba. Oh, susumba. Me love susumba ackee. Mix up susumba ackee, give me man. Me I tell you man. No, we don't work with the saltfish. We don't have saltfish right here. No saltfish out there. Dirty Hudson River where it come from up sea. Where it come from Canada. No, ackee. I have an ackee tree. I don't have to climb it. I just stand up on my deck and just go up. And just pick ackee. Ackee. Oh gosh, man. Anyway, enough for the ackee argument. I got regard, you know. Give thanks for the moment. I've gone with this, Julia. Here we go.